Welcome to my channel, everybody. Mega Mike, the Mayhem Man here tonight. We have a super fun stream planned for you all. We are talking vehicle mayhem. So that means car chases, car races, car crashes, and not just cars. We got some boats in there. We got spaceships. We got airplanes. We got buses. We got motorcycles. Just any kind of vehicle we are talking about tonight. But I'm not here alone, so I will bring out an amazing panel to go through all their choices. How it's going to work tonight is I'm going to introduce everybody. We're going to kind of go over some vehicle movie memories in general. Then we'll run through our 5 rounds of vehicle mayhem action scenes, and we'll play clips for y'all to enjoy. That just kind of get a taste and a flavor of what we're talking about. We'll give commentary, critique, and all that good stuff. And then just as a reminder, let me bring up this banner for you all. Go ahead and run down that like and subscribe. If you're excited for those vehicle mayhem movies, rev up the panel through those super chats and then drive through those mega memberships to crash into awesomeness. And thank you so much. And I will kind of emphasize tonight those memberships and super thanks and super chats, as I have no idea if this video will get demonetized with the video clips we're playing. I think we're going to be okay, but just emphasizing that super chats are even more important tonight to kind of support the channel and the content you love. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring everybody out. We got Car Chases with Ryan. How we doing out there, Ryan?
Doing good. Ready for tonight.
Oh, nice. So kind of just give me some of your vehicle movie memories. What are some of your early experiences with these vehicle mayhem action?
Well, I would go into my first pick now, but I'm going to wait. But it's a movie that I used to watch all the time back in the 80s. Every time it was on, I'd always stop and watch it. But, growing up as a kid in the 80s, your parents didn't want to watch, have you watch these murdering movies and horror movies and all that. So car crashes and car chase movies were always a safe bet. So through the 80s, there is a spectacular amount of car chase and car crash movies. I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I need to go back to the 80s for some of these movies because I'm more modern car crash movies just with what I grew up with. But some of these clips people sent in, I'm like, wow, that looks like a really good, entertaining movie. So I can't wait to see all these recommendations tonight. Let's go ahead and bring out, I know somebody who is definitely a fan of these vehicle mayhem movies. We got Vin in the house, Hard Copy Blues. How we doing out there?
Good. It should be a fun stream. I'm excited to see some of you guys' picks. There's so many ways you could go with this as far as vehicle chases or races or just crash scenes or whatever you want to call it. So I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff pulled. As far as memories for me, I'm going to tie it into the drive-in, which was a strong memory for me as a kid. I have a local drive-in near where I live, and I just have a lot of memories of my mother taking us to the drive-ins as a kid and sitting in the car. I know it's not exactly a car chase memory, but I'm kind of tying that in with being in a car and watching movies. But I'm excited to hear everybody's picks and reveal mine as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to show your clips, Vin, because I think you have the most variety. Definitely a lot of variety in your choices. So I'm excited.
Try to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah. And oh, yeah. I still need to go to a drive-in theater. I've never been to a drive-in theater in my life. There's not one near me, but I would love that experience. It sounds like the best.
It is. It's awesome. It's so
driving
cheap.
Up in your car, and I heard like you'll get a double feature out of it, right?
They
like
do triples. Sometimes they do triple features. You'll get into the drive-in for like $8, and you can have 3 movies that are new. Boom, boom, boom.
Wow. See, that's the way to do it. Oh my goodness. Triple feature right there. All right, let's go ahead and bring in some more vehicle mayhem fans. Of course, big action person here. We got Nate in the house from Geeks and Flicks. How we doing out there, Nate?
Oh, doing pretty good. Looking forward to talking about some mayhem, doing an action movie podcast. This was right up my alley. You said, "Oh, we want mayhem." I said, "Okay." I got some, and apparently I picked some that other people wanted to. So hopefully they were good choices. As far as early memories, God, if I go back to when I was a kid, so I grew up in the 90s. I was born late 80s. So 90s movies, the 2 that stick out to me that were like, wow, this is awesome. The whole entire movie of Speed. I saw that in the theater when I was, I don't know, 7. I want to say 7 or 8. And of course, Batman Forever was a big one for me.
Yeah.
And when he drives up the wall, I was like, this
I
is
was
amazing.
thinking of that same scene. I'm like, should I pull that one tonight? I heavily
grappling
thought
hook
about
that
it.
can make him drive up a wall. Incredible. You know, now I watch it and I'm like, wow, that's pretty goofy, but I still love it because, you know, memories, nostalgia.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See, I love that movie more than most. I know. It's so
It's great.
cheesy,
I love it too,
but yeah, just for my childhood as well. I watched it all the time. Pair that with Batman and Robin, those were like my go-tos as a kid. So all right, let's go ahead and bring out another, of course, well, probably the biggest Fast and Furious fan I know. We got Dell in the house, and oh wait, we gotta see Dell's name here yet. The Fast and the Delius.
What's going on, Mike? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Oh man, you talk about car memories, and I'm with Ryan. We're in the same ballpark age-wise, and I remember HBO way back in the day showing Smokey and the Bandit about 30 times a week, and I must have watched 25 of them every week for a whole summer one year. That was one of my earliest, but I am going to give you a newer memory also. Not so much a memory, just a reoccurrence all the time. Every time I go see a Fast and the Furious movie, driving home is the hardest thing to do. So this lady pulls. We went and saw Fast X this week, my wife and I, and lady is in front of us on one of those two lane highways. You know, one lane going each way, and she's going really slow. And there's oncoming traffic coming on the other side, and I'm gripping the steering wheel tight, and I'm looking over like I can make it. I know I can make it. There's all these cars coming, I can make it. And I'm my wife, she feels me itching to go. She says, no, you're not Vin Diesel. Don't do it.
Yeah, those fast movies can be dangerous. I'm telling you, there's no laws of physics or gravity in there, so you feel like you're a superhero, just like Vin Diesel after those movies. Oh gosh. Oh, those movies are great. Oh, so good. Yeah, I love Fast X. The more I think about Fast X, I'm just like, oh, that was so entertaining. Ridiculous, but very
ridiculous and entertaining, yes.
All right, and then we got James from Straight to Blu-ray. How we doing there, James?
I'm doing good. Hopefully everybody's doing good as well. I'm glad to be here. This is my second live stream ever, so definitely excited for this one. I mean, I'm older. I was born in 77, so I grew up on straight 80s movies, and there are so many different really good, cool, action vehicle moments. And I decided to go a little bit different with mine. Mine aren't like strictly all car chases. I literally did like a different vehicle for every one of my 5. So trying to go with the whole spectrum of different cool, because there's so much cool stuff, even just kind of, going through this and trying to find what movies to pick and then going, oh God, yeah, I remember that one. Oh yeah, that one. So trying to kind of condense that down, I decided to go with the whole spectrum of vehicles. So you kind of see that on my list tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was impressed with your choices, too, because you're right. A lot of variety there. And I'm like, okay, this is awesome. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's go ahead and get into this then. We're going to go with, of course, our first Vehicle Mayhem movie recommendation. So, Ryan, kind of go ahead and start to introduce. What's your pick going to be?
So, again, 1980, this movie came out. They played it nonstop on TBS, TNT, I forget what it is. Every time it came on, I had to stop and watch it, no matter where it was at. And it's got one of the most, I think, funniest car chase scenes ever. But it's none other than Jake and Elwood. They're on a mission from God, and that is the Blues Brothers. Their trip to Chicago and the mayhem that ensues. Of course, you've got them in a stolen cop car. You've got basically the whole Illinois State Police, Chicago Police chasing them down. You get other characters that come join in to try to disrupt it. You've got a Nazi trying to get a hold of them. And they're just on their mission from God. They're trying to make it. Look at that. Sliding all over the place. That's when they used real cars and real stuntmen, not that CGI stuff. But it's even got John Candy in it. I mean, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen the Blues Brothers, what are you doing?
I mean, look at that pile up right there. Oh my goodness!
And it only gets better.
Yeah, I
I
felt
love it
like
when-
I was reading a fact that wasn't this the movie that used the most cars in it for its time?
Yes,
Or
and
like
there's
car
even
crashes?
when they get into Chicago, it was actually when they were building the loop around Chicago, I think. So they even got to use it, or they used a shutdown part of the highway, and they wreck like 100 more cars. Like it's ridiculous how many cars they used in this thing.
What decade is this? Is this supposed to be? Those cop cars look very 70s to me.
It came out in 1980,
Oh
and
my
I
god! Look at the
think
cars.
they set it in the 70s because I think it was like surplus cop cars they had bought that gotten retired from the late 70s.
Yeah, they never say when it's supposed to be. I always assumed it was the year it was made. So, I mean, 1980, you're gonna get 70s cop cars.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'll
haven't
see
seen, I haven't
them on
seen
the
this movie.
we've even got horses.
Yeah, oh yeah. That
And a
this
boat.
scene
On the
is
boat?
definitely the superior one. But I also like the early one in the mall. That one's crazy too.
Oh yeah, yep.
I mean, look at that. It's just
I gotta pick this up on 4K. I've never seen Blues Brothers.
Oh
Ben,
man, you
you've
gotta see
never
it.
seen this?
You gotta
No.
see it,
And
man.
the soundtrack
You
is
gotta-
amazing because Jake and Elwood actually do a lot of the singing. But I mean, you've got Soul Man's on there, all sorts of other good songs. This movie, just from front to back, is great.
Yeah,
Look
I've
at that.
never
You,
seen
got,
so
you,
many
you go on the
cars.
whacker.
I've never seen so
Upper
many
whacker.
cop cars in a shot before.
Oh, it's
That's
so
crazy.
good, Ben. It is so entertaining. And you can probably find the 4K pretty cheap now. I think I got it around that $10 price range. And I think it still came with
actually
the
Amazon
cover
has it right
too.
now, I believe, for $10.99 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I got it like way after it came out, and I think it still came with the slipcover. I'm trying to remember, but I'm like, wow, that was a great deal. But yeah, it's kind of a musical too, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
musical stuff in
Oh,
it.
it's
It has
definitely a musical.
comedy in it, has action in it. It really covers a ton of genre. So
Yeah, I just
Great
checked.
choice.
Amazon doesn't have it anymore in stock, anyways.
you know what? I wonder if Groove might have it because it's a Universal movie and they always have good deals. Yeah. All right.
It's
So
a great movie.
oh, so good. So good. All right. Vin, what is your choice here?
I'm swinging for the fences. I'm going hard right off the rip.
Oh yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road. This whole goddamn movie could be the shot you're going to show. Everything is in this post-apocalyptic desert landscape. Most of the whole movie, you're watching people on some type of a rig or a vehicle. So I mean, the whole movie is kind of a big flashes of red, and it's just such an amazing scene.
By the way, rest in peace, Tina Turner, who was in Mad Max Beyond
Yeah.
Thunderdome.
Mhm.
She just passed away today.
Yeah, that's why I first started watching Mad Max. I grew up on Beyond Thunderdome. I've seen that a million times.
Yeah, I need to go back and see those originals because, like
too.
Vin, I've only seen Mad Max Fury Road, and
The
visually, I
4Ks
really liked it.
look awesome.
Yeah, I think I only had it on a Blu-ray, so I definitely need to see the 4K of it as well.
Yeah.
But it was wild. It was so bonkers. I was not expecting that. So you're saying, Ryan, the Mad Max movies are pretty much all that kind of bonkers action, right? Like a lot
2
of
and 3, I would say more, because 1 is a little more low key than.
Well,
than
one also had a budget of like $20,000,
Yeah.
and they literally shot it in the outback in Australia. And then
Yeah.
like the studio was like, "Oh, it did really good on the Australian market. They ported it over to America. It did really well. It got a lot of playtime on TV." And they said, "Here's money," and they just threw money at them for 2 and 3. Two is probably the closest to Fury Road, and 3 is just batshit insane. Tupac, what was that one song? It's
California Love.
Yeah, California Love. It's out there. It's crazy. It's in your face, but it's still really good.
If you've seen the Tupac video for California Love, it is basically Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2. I would say 2 is the closest to Fury Road. I agree with Ryan, and I like number 1 better than number 3, but they're all fun.
I just checked that out on Amazon. It's $43.99 for that anthology in 4K.
That's a great price.
Yeah.
Very good. And then we got a new one coming out, right? Aren't they working on a Furiosa spinoff? Right? Have you guys heard about that? You guys
That's
excited
been rumored
for that
for
one?
years. Is it actually happening?
I
Yeah,
believe so.
Anya Taylor-Joy is she's She's starring in it.
Okay. I
as
mean, I
young
keep
Tina
hearing that,
Wilson.
but then nothing happened. So I was
Yeah.
curious.
They got to work
Busy.
around all the movies she's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right? She's in everything. It's like her and Jenna Ortega are pretty much, and Margot Robbie are pretty much in everything
perfectly
now.
fine with me.
Oh yeah, they're all great. I'll take them all day.
Yeah.
Oh, she was so good in The Menu. Oh, she was great.
Yeah.
All right, James, what do we got?
Like I said, I decided to not go kind of all car. Actually, I don't even know if there's really any cars in any of mine. So my first one is going to be, my dad actually took me to see this in theaters because, like I told you, I'm old. This is from 1985, and it's Rambo: First Blood Part 2. And like I said, it's not a car scene. It's the kind of the end of the movie where Rambo, because the original First Blood until, God, maybe like 7-8 years ago. And it's completely different than watching this, you know, because it's just almost like two different movies, same character. But I preferred that one to any kind of the subs. 3 was okay. The other ones, they're all right. But I think 2, for me personally, is my favorite.
3 and 5 are probably the worst. I prefer 1 just because I think it was based on a book, and they just really, the story was there. Then they're like, oh, money grab, and did 2 and 3 and everything. But
Hey, if I can
like
cut
4.
in, if I could cut in really quick, someone I know that's
go ahead.
watching the video said the stream suspended. I don't know if it's because of the clips or or what, but
Yeah,
just
I'm
sent me
looking
a
at my
screenshot.
phone. It says stream unavailable. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I'm pulling it up now, checking it out.
yeah.
So when this happened to Tim, when we got suspended during the practical effects thing, I think we were down for like 2 minutes, and then it came back up.
Okay. Well,
So
you guys
do we know when it went down? Because this is still recording.
Yeah.
Because it kept everything in while
On
we were
replay?
talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if the chat. It must have
Says-
just happened because the chat was going.
Damn, what are the freaking odds?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
chat
says-
said 9:20 is the last one I can see. So that's what, 2 minutes ago? 9:20.
Stream suspended for policy violations.
Mm.
I mean, if we get back online, Mike, maybe we should just ditch the video. I know you put a lot of work into it, but
Yeah.
maybe we should ditch the videos and just talk about it.
Yeah, we can do that too. Well, I mean, no one's in the chat right now, right? No one can see this anyway, so we're kind of backstage anyway, so we can just kind of talk. What do you guys think? Should we just? Can I
let's give it-
restart the stream? Or should I? I think I have to create a whole new, like, just set up a new StreamYard quickly, right? I mean, that takes me like 5-10 minutes, which I could do. We could go that way about it.
Hold on. What if you? Because I've still got the live that it's showing that's live. What if you? Can you go unlive and then go relive on the same one, or do you have to?
Somebody
I think
popped
if
in
he
the
tries
chat.
to get
Create a
off
new
live,
one.
it'll end it.
Yeah, I think if
Yeah,
I
I think so.
end broadcast, it'll completely end it. Which, I mean, it's fine, and then I can just recreate. I mean, it's easy to set it up in StreamYard. I just
It
title it.
popped back up on my phone, guys.
Me too.
Oh, it's going?
Oh, we're back. Hey, yeah, that was a pretty
Hey,
crazy
everybody.
movie, right? Oh
Welcome
man,
back.
that's,
Yay.
that's my number
Vehicle
5.
Mayhem, action movie. Yes, we're all
Thanks
covered
for
under
coming,
fair use,
everybody.
people out there, okay? This is fair critiquing here, okay?
Yeah, I think we should
All right.
probably bypass the clips because they may decide to take it down for good if they see if it happens.
We'll just
again.
have to hope that everyone has seen these, and or the way we talk about it makes them want to see it.
Yeah.
and hope
Just
for the
if you're watching, pull up YouTube on a different page and move it if you have 2 screens, and then just YouTube
Google the
all,
clip.
all the clips. Yeah.
There you go. There
Mike,
you
that
go.
was very cool while it lasted, though.
Yeah, it was great job. You did a great
I
job.
know it was a total experiment tonight. I wanted to see if it would work, and we rolled with what we could there.
It was
but-
Stallone. He said, "No, sir, not happening."
I know that's what did it. Once Rambo came up, it was like, oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
one ship went to take down Rambo, and
I didn't think it was gonna be Rambo that did it to us either. I thought
Yeah.
Rambo had our back. but-
Nobody talks shit about Rambo. You're done.
All right, well that's fine then. So we'll just keep rolling with it. Yes, and we'll not go with the clips, I guess. All right, so we're on to Dell.
You.
Dell,
We're on
what
to
do we
you.
got?
All right. Well,
Oh no, that's right, Dale.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little basic because James pulls out helicopters, and I just got all cars and all mine. But I wanted to make Ryan proud because he's a martial arts fan like myself, and they don't usually have good car chases anyway. But this one has a fantastic one. It is the Raid 2. And in this one, our main hero, Rama, he's played by Iko Uwais. I'm not sure if I'm even saying that right, but he's our main character. He finds himself in the car with the bad guys, and they're speeding away as one of Rama's people is chasing them in another car. And, our main guy, he's no damsel in distress. So a full-on fight scene is also happening in the car that he's in with the 4 other people in the car while he's trying to escape that car and somebody's chasing them. And it's just exhilarating to watch. I'm not 100% sure how they did it because I've never really researched it. Because I can't imagine that they really were doing that in that car going on that highway. But it is a really fun watch. And if you've never seen the Raid movies, definitely check them out. Some of the best action movies of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
I did watch a making of on that scene specifically because I was like, this is wild. So they had the one like fake car for the overhead shots. Obviously, it's like
right because you can
see
a little
bigger.
Yeah,
so they're fighting. But then there is a part, we recently reviewed this. So there's a scene where the camera goes, it's on one car, and then the camera goes outside the cars, and then goes into another car.
Yeah.
And so they literally stitched a cameraman into the seat of the car so that you can't see him, and then he grabs the camera when it comes in, and that way it's one long shot. And it was just like the creativity to even think of that technique and shot. Amazing pick. I love that movie. It's great.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
I was trying to think what you were going to pull. I was like, are you going to pull Jackie Chan's Wheels on Meals? Because I don't remember a car chase in that.
Yeah, I've never seen the Raid movies, but Del, that clip got me going. I'm like, you got action in the car, and then of course all the car chasing stuff along with it. I'm like, it's double action packed here.
Yes.
So, yeah. I need
guys getting shot in the face from a motorcycle from like 5 inches away.
Got motorcycles chasing cars. It's bananas.
Yeah, the Raid movies are really, really good. Probably some of the best modern martial arts movies you can find.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how many of them are there? Just two?
Just two.
Just two. All right, Nate, what do you got for your choice?
Okay, so my number 5, I did kind of put them in order. I tried to think, mine all involve cars as well, but I just tried to think of the movies that when I watched them in the theater, I was like I had a big smile on my face, or it just was like I was impressed with the choreography, with the filming, whatever the case. So my first one is going to be this is an action movie, spy thriller, right? I feel like spy movies tend to have pretty good chase scenes in general. So mine is from the Bourne Supremacy. And I am, of course, going with towards the end, there is a taxi scene. Jason Bourne steals a taxi. He's driving this little taxi. It kind of looks like a Mini Cooper, but it's not. And you've Carl Urban as this like assassin guy, and the mayhem that ensued. Like when you said mayhem, immediately I was like, oh, this movie is this. The car gets destroyed. I mean, he keeps driving, but he's crashing into everything. They're crashing into everything. You got Jason Bourne. You got Carl Urban. I forget his character's name. He barely talks or anything. But I mean, a fantastic kind of finale action scene to that movie. And Paul Greengrass directed that one, so it has his kind of crazy, shaky style. But it works. That style actually works for this kind of chase scene. So that's my number 5. I'm going Bourne Supremacy.
Oh, yeah, great choice. And I haven't seen those movies for the longest time. But once again, seeing that clip, I'm like, were these movies that fun? Did they have that much action? Now I need to go back. Because I feel like I was watching them when I was a kid and I was like falling asleep or something.
I think 2 and 3 do really have a lot of... 2 has the most action, probably. Once Greengrass took over from Doug Liman, they just kind of went a little more action heavy. But yeah, that chase scene it's a ton of fun, and it's super well shot, and yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah, so good. All right, and then I guess we'll go with my choice now. My favorite movie of all time. If you guys know my channel, you know my favorite, my first steelbook actually too, and that was The Dark Knight Rises. I love this movie. To me, very underrated, but I love the chase sequence in there where, Bane breaks out of the Wall Street place, right? They're stealing all the data from Wayne and all that good stuff, and they're on their motorcycles, and you got Batman in this case, chasing down the people on the motorcycle, trying to get to them in enough time. He doesn't get to them in enough time. And then the cops turn on him. The cops turn on Batman, and they want to go get him from all the fallout of the Dark Knight. So you got tons of cop cars chasing after Batman. But then the funniest part happens. Batman goes down that alley. They think they got him cornered. He's like, oh, like a rat in a trap. And he's like, oh, the bat, what's it called? The bat, I guess it was called.
Yeah.
Just flies out of there, and they're like, I think you got the wrong animal there, Chief, or something like that. So you get a lot of vehicles in that scene, but it just shows how amazing Batman is in that movie, because now he gets to fly in his vehicle. So I just love that scene.
Even with the opening sequence when they do the airplane, that was all practical, and Bane gets
that
on
was
there, and
so good,
it's.
too. I love that scene.
I remember that scene that you picked, and I remember the first time I saw it. I got goosebumps. I'm a big Batman fan. Like, that's my guy. And when he's and you just see in the shadow the motorcycle kind of weaving through, and I'm like, oh, I got super hyped for it. And then when the lights go out and everything about it, I absolutely love that scene. And I think there's also that's the one where where you see for the first time the wheels turn sideways. He does like that slide, and they spin like that. I nearly just got up on my chair and left. I was like, I can't watch any more of this. I gotta go.
Yeah, and it has a good chase scene towards the end of the movie too, when he's chasing after Talia al Ghul and all of that. And yeah, there's a ton of it. All right, did you all love The Dark Knight Rises like me? I think it's only.
I like it. I defend it. I think it's a good movie. It has flaws. Everybody knows it, but I like Bane. I like Tom Hardy as Bane.
So good.
I like aspects of it. Overall, I just didn't think it worked. But and I'm a Batman guy too, but it just didn't quite work for me.
I hate the DC, but I love Batman. So
I like that movie, Mike. It's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, let's check into the chat, see who do we got here. Still, I don't know when we went offline, people left, but that's okay. We had apparently Adrian here though saying hello. We had Jerry saying what's up. We had Craig saying hello to everybody. We have Chubbs Loves Movies. What's up, everybody? I think it's my first time seeing you in the chat, so welcome. We got Robert Makes the Cut. Hey everyone. Got that spicy 4K action saying what's up. We got Dell everywhere on the panel in the chat. Holland Oates, of course, is everywhere. We got Looking Good there, Mr. Ryan. Let's see everybody saying hello. Robert Makes a Cut saying Wrong Way, Freeway Trace from To Live and Die in LA. That's another movie I still need to see. You guys would recommend
getting a 4K release.
I haven't seen it.
It's just a cult movie. It's not the best movie, but people defend it with their lives, and it's getting, when the 4K comes out, pick it up on sale. Like it's a good movie to watch.
Friedkin, right? That's what William Friedkin.
I've seen it, but it's probably been 25 years since I have, so I need to see it again.
Yeah, I've never even seen it.
Never seen it. Want to really bad though.
Hisham saying hello to everybody as well. We got Movie Hunter saying evening, everyone. Hisham saying Mr. Bean car or the Flintstones cave mobile. That's fun choices for sure. Let's see. Oh, Hisham saying worst vehicle design movie. I have no idea. What's the worst vehicle design? Why is someone saying Cujo? That's not a vehicle. That's a dog.
It takes place.
They're stuck in the car.
Movie, so. Yeah, they're stuck in the car for most of the movie.
Stuck in the car for like an hour of it.
So I haven't seen it yet. That's on my list. Okay, they're stuck in a car. Gotcha. I'm like, what? Somebody riding Cujo?
That's a sneaky pick. That's a creative pick right there.
That is. Yeah.
You probably could ride Cujo. It's a pretty big dog.
We got my mom saying hi to everyone. Hisham saying Duel 1971, Steven Spielberg. I actually just watched that recently. I don't know. I couldn't get into it as much as I was thinking I was going to. Are you guys big fans of Duel? I know it's getting a 4K
Yes.
like Steelbook exclusive right from Groove.
Yeah, I like it.
It's good.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you guys love. Okay, might have to give it another chance one of these days. I was like,
that's one that was never made for the theaters. They actually gave him money to make it. It was supposed to be a straight to TV movie, and then it did really good. Then it got, I think, a limited theater release after the fact or something like that. But it's just one of those cult movies that people know from TV.
Now, I did watch a little bit about that. The truck in the movie never actually gets above 35 miles an hour, but the way they shot it, it made it look fast. So they had to, they went through some trials because they couldn't make it look fast, and finally somebody got the bright idea to lower the camera and make it a little closer to the truck, so it looks like it's just speeding along, and it worked out.
Yes.
All right, Hisham saying, have you guys seen Tarzan, the Wonder Car release in 2004? I've not seen that.
No.
Don't even know what that is.
Robert makes a cut saying the final chase with the fuel tanker and the Road Warrior, Mad Max 2.
Yeah. It's the Fury Road truck that's in there. The tanker they have is very reminiscent of it. It's like a big war wagon, and it's the chase is really good. There's a lot going on in it.
Hisham saying, what's your favorite Batmobile? That's a whole nother stream idea, Hisham. I can't even think of one. I mean, they're all so good. Yeah, I know. The classic one's really nice. The 60s. Adam West.
Says, as much as I love 89 Batman, you can't really beat the classic Batmobile.
All right, we got Lowdown in the house saying, what's up to everybody?
I might go
to the
89.
live stream. Yeah.
Yeah, Robert saying Blue Thunder 1983 has an awesome helicopter chase shot on location in Los Angeles.
Robert loves that movie. He made us watch it for our podcast, and he just loves it. It's an interesting film, for sure.
Okay. So proceed with caution on that one.
Maybe. There's a lot of naked yoga and weird stuff in it. I'm like, what are we watching? What are we watching right now?
4K saying raid movies are awesome. Great pick, Del. Let's see. We got let's see. Oh yeah, everybody just saying hello to each other. Craig saying Goldfinger with Gadget Car. Oh yeah, James Bond movies always have great chase scenes. Now I thought of one. I'm like, oh, I should have included that one. Well, honorable mention then. Now I got another honorable mention. I didn't even think the James Bond movies for some reason. All right, Ryan, we are now getting into our second Vehicle Mayhem movie recommendation. What do we got?
All right. We're going to have to set this up since we don't have the video clip. So we're in a post-apocalyptic world. We got somebody driving down a country road trying to get somewhere. You got Julianne Moore in the front seat. You got Clive Owen in the back seat. We got Children of Men. So I don't know who else seen Children of Men, but it's done in a very great single shot. But they're trying to get this lady to safety because babies have not been born in X amount of years. And now they have this pregnant lady and they get stopped by a rolling fire car that comes down a hill and they got to take off. And then Julianne Moore takes one to the neck and bleeds out. And you got all these people coming out of the woods, banging on the car, trying to kill them. And you got guys on motorcycles chasing them. And just the thing I love about this little chase scene, it's not very long and all that, but it's done as one shot and you really feel their panic and everything that's going on. And it's just shot beautifully. But Children of Men, that's my car chase scene.
It's a great,
Is
great
that a
movie and
book by
great scene.
I think so. I think it's based on a book.
I feel like I've heard that premise before, but I've never seen the movie.
That seems like it would be based off a book.
I think it is. It was my favorite movie of that year that it came out. And that scene is crazy. It's a one shot and it's not all from outside. I mean, it kind of goes in and out the car as well too.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Alfonso Cuarón movie. If you've never seen it, I agree with Ryan and Del. Great. First of all, it's a great film. But then there's just these like little random action scenes in it. It's not really an action movie per se, but like you have the bombing scene in the beginning, you know, like the bomb goes off, and then at the end, it's like a crazy like war zone, pretty much, for him to get that girl there, and tense the whole time, just like super intense. Great movie.
Yeah, that was the first time I had really ever seen the like you said, the through the car, the really long shot, and them just sticking with the people in there, and it just blew me away. It was done so well.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the movie, but that scene was totally gnarly. I'm like, wait, where are we going with this? And then everything starts popping up at them. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is getting pretty gruesome here.
And I don't remember the guy's name, but it's got he was in Doctor Strange. He's the black guy that was good, and then he turns.
Tell Ejiofor?
Yeah. It's got him in it too. He's spectacular in it. Like I said, Juliana Moore and Clive Owen, can't beat it. It's a good movie.
All right, Vin, what do you got?
All right, I have Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation. There is a scene, it's actually depicted right here with Tom Cruise on the bike. And I just think it's so impressive that he learned how to ride a bike that well. Because that's him on the bike. It's not a stunt man. He's like speeding down this street, and the lean that he does, where you have to, for certain turns when you're on a bike like that, you have to lean the bike. And there's actually a little part in the scene where Cruise's knee actually scrapes the pavement. He probably did it on purpose, but like that's how deep he is on his motorcycle lean. But besides that, the chase starts out with Cruise in a car chasing a motorbike, and then it ends up being him on a bike chasing a woman on a bike. And I rewatched it the other day, and it's like, God, like this is Tom Cruise. This was 2015, so he was probably late 40s, maybe 50. But you know, there are people who hate on Tom Cruise for the Scientology stuff, whatever. I get it, but goddamn, you got to respect him for the amount of work that he puts into his craft to learn how to do all of these stunts so well. And it's just such an intense scene, and it really gives you a good depiction of speed. Is what I really took away from it. Everything looks like it's going so fast, and that's going to be a theme with a couple of other ones that I mentioned. I love when a film can really capture the feeling and the essence of things moving really, really quickly. And this film definitely does it. It's an awesome scene, and just props to Tom Cruise. Sorry, props to Tom Cruise for being
that'd be a different movie.
The best stunt actor.
Tom Hanks as Ethan Hunt. I'm in. I want to see that.
Mission Possible.
Yeah. Rogue Nation, the bike scene. I think it's around midway through.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I'll still argue this day. There hasn't been a bad Mission Impossible.
You like
I think
2?
they've only gotten better.
Big fan of 2?
I like 2 for what it is. That's when they went to the different director. They went a different style. But
John Woo.
Overall,
yeah.
And I love John Woo. I'm a huge John Woo fan. Not so much of his American stuff, except for like Face Off, Broken Arrow's okay and all that. But it's been a consistent series all the way through all the movies, and they've only gotten better and better and better. And to Tom Cruise, stunts, better. I mean, what, Dead Reckoning, how many times did you ride a bike off the cliff, they said, for that? Like 53 times.
Yep.
So
I watched that too. It was ridiculous.
I mean, after a while, the director's got to be like, Tom, you're just doing it because you like it, right? Not because I can't get the shot.
I've held the position that Tom Cruise is really trying to die on film.
Yeah, I wonder what the insurance policy is on him. What do they have to take out for all these movies?
Yeah, true. I was playing, playing devil's advocate a bit there, Ryan, because I think I agree with you. I don't think any of them are bad films. I think 2 is the worst of them. But the worst of a great franchise it's still good though.
Yeah, I'd probably go like 2 as the worst, and then maybe 1. 1 was still really good because it set it off, but then just 3, 4, 5, 6, just up the road, they just get better.
Yep. Yeah, how rare is that for a franchise to last that long? And then what is Fallout, like 6, right?
Yeah, there's 6 right now, getting ready for 7.
What other franchise can you say, 6 was like the best, or 5 was like damn near the top? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Only the
Part
Fast
2,
and
the one
Furious.
where they take the face off, like they can remove their faces constantly.
Yeah, they have the masks that look like that's like part of their thing. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That was a little much.
Have you ever?
I still need to see all these movies. I haven't seen one yet. So
I know
Have you
this is
seen any of
off
the MI
subject.
movies?
No, that's like the one
Yeah.
franchise
Wait.
that has escaped
You're
me.
getting
I
on
will
Vince for
get
not
to it.
seeing the Blues Brothers, but you've never seen any of the Mission
Hey,
Impossible movies.
Blues Brother is one title. Mission Impossible. It's like you gotta go through all of them. It's a commitment.
You could have at least accidentally seen one on FX or something.
I thought I would. I have to. I will.
Hey.
I will binge them all before Dead Reckoning. I'm definitely
There you
seeing
go.
Dead Reckoning. In
Have
theaters.
you guys seen the interview with Matt Damon where he's talking about talking to Tom Cruise? He's like, Tom, I got to know the Burj Khalifa thing. How did that go down? And Tom's like, well, I went and talked to my stunt coordinator. And he was like, we can't do it. It's impossible. So I got my another stunt coordinator. So he just went to somebody else that like approved
Second opinion.
it because he wanted to do that Burj Khalifa where he jumped out the window. And that's
Yeah.
just insane.
I don't know what kind of blackmail he has on the directors being able to get by with the insurance people, because most actors you can't fall down, without a stunt double. I don't know how he gets away with doing that, but
I mean,
He
at
usually
some point-
produces- He usually produces his own movies. That way he can just
Yeah.
stay,
and it's kind of the thing where they say something to him. It's like, do you know who I am? I'm Tom Cruise. That's the end of it.
Well, he's just developed an expert skill set on bike, on skydiving, on jumping out of helicopter. I mean, like he's just developed this crazy skill set of expertise through these films that it's like, what other actors putting in that much work for us?
Am I just imagining things? He flew a helicopter in one of them too, where there was a helicopter chase.
That was
The
Fallout.
last one,
Yeah,
Fallout.
it's Fallout,
The fall.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, I think
I
there
feel
was
like watching him now too.
a talk show interview where he was running down all the vehicle licenses he has. He's like, I have one for this, I have one for that. And like, oh my goodness, that's commitment right there.
Yeah.
All right, James, what do we got?
all right. So going with the different vehicle theme, we went with helicopter for the first one. So now we're going to the water, and this is Face Off, not Snake Eyes, but Face Off. There's a really cool boat scene where you've got, and I'm not the biggest John Travolta fan. I really only like him in this and Pulp Fiction. But he just played such a cool, evil kind of, character. And then you've got the boat scene, it's him, and then you've got Nicolas Cage, and they're kind of dueling each other with the boats. So, it's the speedboats. You've got them racing against each other. They're shooting back and forth at each other. I think Nick Cage just has a handgun, and then John Travolta's got the machine gun. And they're kind of going back and forth. And then it comes to where there's a police boat that kind of comes up in front of them. And of course, they're all standing there like they're going to stop them. And then they just completely get blown away. Like almost like the one cop gets blown away, almost RoboCop-ish, like the Ed 209 in the boardroom. Like it's pretty graphic, but only kind of for like maybe like a split second on that one. So I thought that was cool. You've got the boat then like crashes through the police boat, huge explosion. And then it just kind of continues on. And then the other boat, just a huge explosion on that one too. It's just really, really just a cool kind of, climax to that movie. Just it's as far as boats. I mean, I guess there's not a ton of boat scenes. There are a few action boat scenes, but I always just thought that was really cool. And just the movie in general is just an awesome movie. So
Speed 2, cruise control.
Yeah, I was worried that's where we were going. When you said we're going to the water, I said, uh-oh.
that did not make the cut. Speed.
Too bad.
Yeah, that speedboat scene is really good in Face Off, though. I was watching, I'm like, it goes on for quite a lengthy time, too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, you'll have to watch
so
that.
good.
I don't want to shut down the whole stream again, so you're kind of just going to watch that.
That's supposed to be getting a 4K too. I think Kino was supposed to do it because I know they did that deal with is it Paramount? I think Paramount.
Yeah.
And it was on their list, but I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that got announced.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
got a
there's
big enough
supposed to be
following.
a-
It should.
It's supposed to be a
Well,
sequel.
and Kino's notorious for announcing stuff on their Twitter page, but they don't say when. And then like a year and a half later, like, oh, by the way, here's this title that we announced like a year and a
Later
half
this
ago. 'Cause-
year is when it's coming out. Later.
That was this one that we just talked about, the To Live and Die in It. They announced that like forever ago, and it's just now coming out.
They like to get
All
the
right,
word out
yeah.
in advance.
All right, Dell, what do we got?
All right, I'm going back all the way to the year of my birth. I think I'm the old man here, 71. And this movie is actually a crime drama, not really an action flick, but the car chase is great. And that is The French Connection.
Yes.
And Gene Hackman he's a cop, and there's big drugs, a lot of extra drugs have flooded into New York, and they're trying to catch the bad guy, and they've pretty much found him, but he makes his escape on a subway train, but it goes on an elevated track. If you're familiar with New York, or if you've just seen them in pictures, you'll know there's train tracks running through a lot of the city, that are elevated train tracks running through a lot of the city. And he's in his car on the street at street level following the train. And of course, there's regular traffic going on. So he's got his sirens blaring, and he's weaving in and out of traffic and trying to keep up with this train that's on the track unimpeded high above him. And for me, it was just one of the most tense car chases that I've seen. And like the Blues Brothers, this is all real cars, none of that CGI stuff.
And another Friedkin title too.
Yeah, William Friedkin. Yeah, absolutely.
And the funny part about that, they didn't get a permit to film the end of the chase, and they end up wrecking into an actual like civilian car and take out a stand or something too. I forget what it was, and like they ended up having to pay for all of that.
Oh yeah.
I still need to see that movie. It's
a great movie. It's not an action movie, but that scene is in there. But it's a great movie though.
And you said it's from the 70s, right?
71.
Yeah.
And until the 4K comes out, the version that Dale has there, if you want to show it again, it's the director's approved one. Make sure you buy that one, because there is another Blu-ray release that is horrible. Like it does not look good. It's all like washed out, and it's just not good at all. I think it may even have the wrong aspect ratio, but that one was actually approved and looks really good.
All right, Nate, what do we got?
It's a great movie. Okay, so my next one, it's gonna be, so this is kind of a combo. Like this is just a huge action scene in the middle of this movie. I know a lot of people don't love this movie. That's okay. It's not my favorite movie either, but this scene is one of my favorite action scenes in general, and it involves a lot of cars, motorcycles. We got some caddies. We're getting some Escalades. We got some Ducatis. So I'm going with the Matrix Reloaded, the LA freeway chase scene. It starts with, of course, Neo fighting with the Milli Vanilli guys and then all the other guys in the hotel looking thing, and they're fighting, and then it cuts to Trinity and the Keymaker and Morpheus. They go out, and then that's when it's like, and it cuts between him fighting and them in the car chase, and it's just pure mayhem. It ends with like two trucks crashing into each other and an explosion, and there's swords. I mean, it's
two
just
18-wheelers.
Yeah, two 18-wheelers, just, and the ripples. Lots of CGI in this one, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It is a thrilling, just a set piece that is just, I like that movie just because of that scene. I could watch the rest of it just because I love that scene so much. And when Trinity gets on the motorcycle, it's amazing. Like the way they shot it, she looks great on that thing. So that's my pick for number 4.
Yeah, that's got everything.
Like the best part of the movie.
That's such a cool scene. It's got combat inside of a car. It's got crazy sword fights and stuff on top of an 18-wheeler. It's got motorcycles. It's got the element of the agents kind of jumping from car to car because they can take over whoever they want in the Matrix. That scene is so just multi-layered. I love it. That's one of the ones you stole from me.
And it's got a superhero. And it's got a superhero part too. Neo comes flying in.
And it's got ghosts. The Milli Vanilli ghost, it's haunted. Exactly. It's got superheroes. It's got swords. I mean, what do you want else? Nothing. It's got everything.
It's a great scene.
Yeah, that scene is great.
And I think I heard, I might be mistaken, but didn't they build that entire highway just to film that scene?
I think so. Yeah.
They probably had to. There's no way to film that. I just got back from California from a vacation, and there's no way they could film that anywhere. I could barely drive most of the places. I was going 5 miles an hour most of the time. So there's.
See, you guys just killed the movie magic for me. I thought it was on an actual freeway. I'm like,
no.
I guess they couldn't find an under construction highway.
Yeah, they couldn't do like speed and just be like, this one's not done yet. Let's drive on it. But yeah, it's a great scene.
All right, and then I guess we're on to my choice now, and we will go with Escape from New York. Of course, the bridge scene where you got Kurt Russell's Snake on there trying to escape in his car. and they're saying, don't gun it, you're not gonna make it. And I just picked the scene because I thought it was so funny, because he actually doesn't make it in that vehicle. It totally shuts down on him, just crashes and burns. And you don't expect that when you're watching the movie the first time. You're like, oh, he's gonna make it, he's like the hero of the story, nothing's gonna go wrong. And then it totally does go wrong. So I just thought it was a funny scene.
That's a movie I have to rewatch. I've seen it one time and I've held off on getting the 4K. But I don't remember it that well. I don't remember the scene you're talking. I gotta check that one out again.
Yeah, I've only seen it one time myself. I should rewatch it again. But yeah, it's the bridge chase scene, as it will. But yeah, I like that movie. You guys like that one? You guys Carpenter fans out there?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since it came out, and then the only thing I remember was the when he was getting into LA with the underwater sub, and it looked really, really, really bad.
That's Escape from LA.
Escape
Was
from
that?
New York.
Oh, that's New York.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Escape from New York.
I'm sorry. See, I've got them mixed up. I haven't seen either one of them in a long time.
Escape from New York is really good. Escape from LA is really bad.
Yeah, exactly. Combined, they're like a pretty good movie, but Escape from New York by itself is fantastic.
I've been up since 3:30. I'm sorry. Slightly tired.
Let's check into the chat. We got Tiana saying hello to everyone. Hello, Tiana. Robert saying Smokey and the Bandit with a Trans Am filled with chases. Mm-hmm.
Breaker.
Craig
19.
saying Thelma and Louise car going off the cliff to end the movie. See, I still need to see that one, but that's coming out the Criterion 4K.
Yeah, it just got a 4K release with Criterion.
Oh my goodness. Craig's next comment: O.J. Simpson car chase in real life. Yeah, with that Ford Bronco. There you go. Craig saying Back to the Future. Robert saying Christine, a possessed and self-healing Plymouth Fury. I thought about that movie as well. Mm-hmm. And then Robert saying John Carpenter signed my Escape from New York 4K cover last year. Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
That's cool.
I don't know why I thought you pulled Escape from LA. I have no clue.
He was gonna pick the surfing
They
scene
kind
from
of
Escape
blend
from
together
Escape
because
from
they
LA.
are similar premises. It's just one's executed better than the other, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But very similar premise. Let's see. So, Ryan, we're on to number 3 then.
All right. This movie, when it came out, like, I don't think anybody watched it, and I had a hard time ever getting friends to watch it. And this movie came out in 98, I think it was. It was the year I graduated. But it's gotten a big cult following since then, and it's got one of the best car chase scenes ever. It's been on multiple lists, and actually, I just seen yesterday, Watch Mojo put out their top 20 car chase scenes, which kind of was whatever, we were doing this tonight. They put that out yesterday. So I watched it, and this was number 2 on it. Takes place in France, stars Robert De Niro, Jean Reno, Stellan Skarsgård, Sean Bean, and we're talking Ronin. If you've never seen the movie, basically these ragtag lone assassin, or Ronin, kind of taken from the samurai thing, come together to do a job for this lady and this guy and their boss to get a hold of this briefcase. So they plan everything out. They execute it. It happens in this little town right outside Paris, and it doesn't go as planned. And then they get into a car chase, and the car chase is through all these cobblestone roadways, off into the dirt, onto a highway, back into this little small city. And it's just an awesome chase. And it's got, like, they're using an Audi and I think a Volvo or something like that. And the chase scene just goes on for like a good 8 minutes. There's car crashes. Robert De Niro blows up another car with a bazooka.
Yes.
Awesome movie. So if you've never seen Ronin, it's really, really good.
Yeah, that video clip definitely sold me on that movie because, wow, it is intense. And that is a gorgeous steelbook, too. Oh, what do you got, Vin? Let's see your copy of that one. Oh, Arrow, nice.
Yeah, Kino got the 4K coming up.
Yep, that's what I'm waiting on. That Kino Lorber 4K. Yeah.
This was one I almost pulled when I had to make some substitutions, because I watched this one. I didn't watch the whole film. I just watched that main car chase scene, and I almost pulled it. It's a great scene.
Yeah,
it is.
Like, when I mentioned Ronin, people are like, Ronin? Like a samurai movie? I'm like, no, it's this really cool espionage, spy, assassin, car chase movie, and they're like, "Oh, okay," but then you watch it; it's really good. It's done really, really, really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
when you
car
told me
chases
that
in there
title,
are great.
What's
yeah,
that?
when you told me that title, Ryan, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, Ronin, what samurai
Keanu
movie? Are they
Reeves?
riding a horse or something? Like,
The
what's
Keanu
going
Reeves
on?
movie?
Yes. Did we lose James?
Yeah, I think. Let me see. Actually, he's backstage. Let's bring James. We're
There we
back.
go.
Yeah,
I'm back. Yeah, sorry, the storm's going through here. That had a little power flicker there.
no worries, no worries. So, James, what do you got for your number 3?
All right, going with my common.
You skipped Vin.
theme
You
of-
skipped
I?
Vin.
This one,
Did
Yeah, you
I?
brought him back. You just gave him
Oh,
Vince
sorry. Vin was showing his Ronin too, and I totally. There we go. Vin,
Oh,
what do
sorry.
you got?
This won't be a surprise to any of you guys because I asked about it in the chat, but it is. I don't know how to cover the rest of these, but
Oh, the best.
Oh yeah.
Final Destination 2.
Oh, yeah.
I rewatched the entire series 6 months ago, 5 months ago. I don't know why, but they're all fun. And when you're watching a film like Final Destination, you're just looking for great kills. And I think that I'm fairly confident in saying that part 2 has the best kills out of the entire series. But besides that, the highway scene. Everyone knows the log scene. Everyone's traumatized by the log scene.
Absolutely.
And I knew that scene was coming when I rewatched Final Destination 2. But what I wasn't expecting was how good the whole scene is. There's so much mayhem in this scene. I think that's what kind of spurred us to call this a mayhem stream. Of course, there's a log scene where the logs come unchained and destroy that cop's whole existence. But there's a whole bunch of other explosions and death scenes within this one scene. And of course, also, it's a very fun scene structurally to watch because you're seeing all of these things that she sees again later that are premonitions to what's going to happen. So, all the little tie-ins in that aspect of the other passengers that she's seeing and other cars on the highway, kids doing things with trucks, but it's a multi-death scene, which I think a lot of people forget. It looks like that scene must have cost a fortune to make. Lots of explosions, lots of big, car pileups and things like that. Not to mention one of the most iconic scenes in horror that involves vehicles. Probably the most iconic is that log truck. So I had to put it on there.
Well, as the saying goes, that scene lives rent free in my head. Every time I'm on a highway, if I see a logging truck, I'm hitting the gas pedal and getting in front of that damn thing.
But interestingly enough, there was a film that did a log scene before that, and it's Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. There's a highway scene in that film. I think that's a 70s or 80s film, and a log truck comes unhinged on the road and causes despair. And it did it first, which I thought was kind of crazy because no one knows about that movie.
You know what else? If you're just talking scenes with vehicles, and if a vehicle is something that gets you from one spot to another, you really could have picked any Final Destination movie because the first one is a plane, then a freeway, then a NASCAR race in 4, a roller coaster in 3, and a bridge in 5. I mean, have your pick, but 2 is you picked the right one. 2 is fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of those weird scenes where when you know it's coming, you're like, it's almost like Ghost Ship at the very beginning with the wire, and you're like, it's coming, but it's still there. Yeah. I have Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, but I haven't seen it yet. Now I got to check that out.
So, I drive a truck. I deliver welding, medical, and food grade gases. And I've got flammable, explosive gases and all that. And I have to stop at railroad tracks. So I'm in a large truck. So every time I have to stop at a railroad track, we've got like 2 major highways that run through our town. So if I'm on one of those and everybody's doing like 60 and all of a sudden they got to come stop, I'm always thinking, it's like, one of these days I'm going to Final Destination somebody because they're going to hit the back of my truck and we're all just going to die. So that movie, like, just because of that, I think about that every time I have to stop at a damn railroad track now.
Yeah, and it all started with the person spilling the coffee, not paying attention to the road. So make sure you pay attention to the road out there.
I can tell you right now, it's not just coffee. 80% of the people on the road can't drive.
Yep, that's true. And then if you got death chasing you, then yeah, makes sense.
You're dead anyway, so what's the point?
Yeah.
All right, James, what do you got?
Okay, so this one might be a little blasphemous because this one is CGI, but this one is going to space, and that's going to be Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This is the Battle of Scarif, which is the very end of the movie. Just a cool. It's actually the first, like in Star Wars, I guess that the Skywalker saga. It's really the first battle between the Rebels and the Empire. And obviously, you know, most people had seen Star Wars to begin with, you know, they're going to be successful in the end. But it was just a really cool battle scene, you know, above, you know, the planet while they're trying to get the plans sent up there. And I always remember the scene when you've got the two Star Destroyers and they both kind of crash into each other. And it's one of those where it's a you know, it's vehicles and it's kind of, you know, you've got battles going on, but it's not super fast. They crash into each other, gets slowed way down, and then you've got that one Star Destroyer that starts slowly going down when you know it's going to crash into the generator that's got the force field around the entire planet. So you're just slowly watching it go down, and then it completely destroys everything. Like I said, I know it's CGI, so there's nothing spectacular about anybody driving, but I thought as far as like science fiction space battles kind of go, I thought that was just an amazing scene, and it's surprisingly a good movie considering, you know, everything that happened after the original trilogy. So
it's my favorite out of the new movies for sure.
Yeah, Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies, period.
Yeah, other than the original trilogy, that's easily, like, for me, next. The other ones,
Yeah.
Yeah, if they could have made everything on the level of Rogue One quality, I don't think anybody would have any problems. Everybody would be very happy with the Star Wars franchise.
The thing about Rogue One, too, they didn't go super overboard with it, so it almost matches the same tone as the original trilogy. Like, I can't watch the prequels because it's just way, way too out there. Like, too advanced, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. And then everything afterwards is just,
And it's the one where you know what you're getting. You know you know they're going to be successful. You know they're going to get the plans. You know they're all going to be killed. You know, if you've seen the original, and it still was better than any really of the others, where it, you know, kind of could have went either way.
And then the ending scene when that guy comes in and just clears house.
Yeah,
awesome.
All right, Del, what do we got?
All right, I'm going with a movie from a director I really don't like all that much, but I really do like this movie. And the car chase scene in here is actually reminiscent of Matrix Reloaded, but without the swords, without the superhero stuff. It's Will Smith, Martin Lawrence on a freeway in Bad Boys 2. And they're flipping cars off of another vehicle, you know, one of those vehicles that carries all the cars. They're flipping cars off of that at the bad guys, and there's lots of shooting going back and forth. And yeah, it's lots of CGI in here, but I thought it was done really well. And we get some impact when these cars are rolling around the highway after being thrown off of another vehicle. And it's one of my favorite scenes in this franchise. And like I said, I'm not a big Michael Bay fan, but I do like the Bad Boys movies.
Oh yeah, I have fun with the Bad Boys movies. Even the last one was pretty good, Bad Boys for Life. And then now we're getting a number 4. So
we're getting a number 4.
I was shocked we're getting number 4. I'm like, okay, with all the Will Smith debacle and all that, but I'm like, okay.
It's gonna be called Bad Boys for Life. Instead of FOR, they're just going to put a number 4. So they have 2 with the same name.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a weird title to choose for the third one. It would have been perfect for
missed opportunity. Now they can't use it again. They could, but
then we'll get Bad 5.
Bad 5.
Bad 5 for life.
Bad Boys for Life for real.
Yeah.
Hey, that works.
Bad Boys for 5.
Bad X. Bad Boys go to space.
Yeah.
And then we'll get a part 1, a part 2.
Didn't Michael Bay? I know he did recycle stuff from The Island and into Transformers, but didn't he also recycle something from Bad Boys 2 in another movie?
Probably.
Yeah. I know there's like a one segment of that car chase you're talking about that also featured in another movie, and then he featured something from The Island and Transformers.
Was it Ambulance that he?
It could have been. I know for a fact he did it. Because he's done it more than once. But I know he did it with The Island and Transformer, the Mark Wahlberg one, the first one.
All right, Nate.
I don't know. Okay. This one's all CGI. There's no real people in this scene at all. But this movie and this scene in particular, it's like, honestly, it's like the heavens opened up and God looked down and said, Nathan, what do you want in a movie? What kind of things do you like? What director do you like? And what things do you like? And then put it all in a movie for me. So I'm going with this is my only race scene, but I'm going from the race scene in Ready Player One. I mean, Steven Spielberg, my favorite director. On top of that, you got a DeLorean. So you get some Back to the Future. You got the bike from Akira. You can't go wrong with that. You got T-Rex from Jurassic Park. You got a billboard for The Last Action Hero, Jack Slater. And you got King Kong. I love monster movies. The energy of that scene, I love that there's no music. There's no score. It is just mayhem. Cars driving, exploding, and your eyes are just like, it's almost tiring to watch, but in a good way, because your eyes are just trying to look everywhere to see every single thing that you could possibly catch that's from a movie that you like or another property that you like. And I love that about it. I love the last scene too, where there's like a lot of cars and the Iron Giant comes out and all that kind of stuff. But that first race scene, sitting in the theater, I had a huge grin on my face the whole entire time. And I love it. I love it to this day. Yeah, it doesn't look real, but also they're in a video game. So I don't really care. Like it's supposed to look like a video game. So I absolutely love that scene. And I could watch it just on a loop, probably for like a good hour or so if I really wanted to.
Yeah, that's another one that I tried to grab, but it was taken already.
I'm really sorry about that.
That's why you have to get yours in early. I went and ordered.
I agree that scene is so much fun, and it's so entertaining to watch. If I had to rank them, I mean, it'd be hard to not put that up toward the top. I know it's CGI, but God, like you said, there's so much to just love about that scene.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
that whole movie is
all
great.
the properties like that are in there. Like the two that surprised me the most was Battletoads are in there. If anybody remembers the video game Battletoads, but then my favorite is the Gundam when what's his name turns into the Gundam and fights off Godzilla. Like that's
Mecha Godzilla. The Ninja Turtles are in it.
Mecha Godzilla.
You got like Alien, Chucky, and it's a Warner Brothers film, and they got all these things from all these other mediums, video games.
There's Halo, there's Spartans in there. There's all sorts of good stuff. From
Overwatch, there's a Tracer from Overwatch, like Ryu from Street Fighter is in there. It's great.
That's another really good Atmos track on that. It's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, amazing.
And I'm glad you mentioned one thing, Nate. It is CGI, but it's supposed to look like a video game, and it does it very well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That movie's so good. It's in my top 5 Spielberg movies. It's just so fun. It's so entertaining. It's so rewatchable. I don't think it gets talked about enough anymore, so I'm glad you mentioned that one.
I think a lot of people, I do know, like a lot of people who read the book didn't love the movie, and that could be why. I never read the book, so this is the only version I know. And it was my favorite movie. I think it was 2018 that it came out, 2017, one of those. It was my favorite movie that year. I just thought it was great. And yeah, the video game thing, it works. Like, okay, we're going to make a full CGI. Yeah, the people aren't photorealistic, but I mean, if you played a game that looked like that, you'd be like in awe if you were sitting in your house playing that game. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got Born to Be Rad in the chat. Hey, what's up, everyone? It definitely doesn't get talked about enough. I love the movie. I'm telling you, it's so good. It's like nostalgia in a movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Plus, you end up watching it a bunch of times to see the stuff you missed the first couple go arounds.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Every time I rewatch, I notice something different in the background. It's just an Easter egg hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So now getting into my choice here for number 3. And this one I was back and forth on. I'm like, do I go the original? Do I go the remake? I like both of them for different reasons. But we'll go with the remake of The Italian Job. Really awesome movie, and actually quite like the Steelbook that just came out. But you can't go wrong with that Marky Mark action versus Edward Norton. And it has a lot of good chase scenes in this movie. I was back and forth on that as well. Do I go with the speedboat chase scene at the beginning through the Venice canals? I almost went with that one. But I do like the ending chase scene when you get the classic, iconic Mini Coopers, the bright colors, and then they're going against Edward Norton's helicopter. You got the Marky Mark showdown with Ed Norton, and you're like, how is he going to get out of this? And I loved how they actually used practical effects in the movie where that is a real helicopter. And I saw the special features. They said it was so difficult to get the helicopter that low and under in that like garage structure. But they did it. They navigated it. And just to see like Marky Wahlberg go ahead and like escape the helicopter and get out to safety and get past Ed Norton, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I love that scene. But I really like this movie. I feel like this movie doesn't get talked about a whole lot anymore. I think this has great action and practical stunt effect work. So I love it. But the original is good too. Original has a lot of good moments too. You guys like the Italian Job?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Fun movie.
I think a lot of people compare it to the original, and that's why they don't like it, because the original is really good. But for me, I prefer the newer one just because I love Jason Statham, I love Seth Green, I love Edward Norton, I like Wahlberg, like he's good. But I thought it's a more tight, compact movie, not the Mini Cooper compact, whatever. But I think it flows a little better to me.
I agree. I think it's paced better. I think it's more entertaining from start to finish because you start with a chase scene with the speedboats and the heist, and then you end with the car chase with the heist and all of that. So it's really well paced. I do like the original second half when you actually get into the heist with the Mini Coopers, but I will say with the first kind of planning part, I do doze off a little bit, at least on my first watch with the Kino Lorber 4K. It picks up eventually, but once again, I like the remake. Remake's my favorite. All right, let's see who's in the chat here. Let's see, Born to be Rad on Ready Player One saying, yes, I always notice new stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're getting into, our fourth Vehicle Mayhem movie recommendation. So, Ryan, what do we got for number 4?
So I like me colorful, poppy, music-driven type movies, and there's really one director that kind of does that. And this movie starts off with a really good music scene and introduces you to your main character and all that. But the first heist scene in this, we get to hear a little song called Bell Bottoms, and we're going to go with Edgar Wright's Baby Driver. They pull off the heist. You see, Baby sitting there in the car, bopping along to the music. The bad guys get in the car with them. John Bernthal's like, let's go. And he gives them the look, and they go the complete opposite direction. And you get the nice little emergency J-turn, takes off. The chase scenes in this is great. Even the parking garage mayhem fight between him and Bernthal is really, really good. And it's just a great movie. I love this movie. It's not my favorite Edgar Wright, but if I want something that's just kind of poppy, put me in a good mood, the music in this is great, and just the little action scenes of this is great. And the little Jamie Foxx's character, Bat, and like when they kind of go at it with the planning, yes, it's got Kevin Spacey in it, but I like his character too. He's always playing a good bad guy. Baby Driver, that's my number 4.
Great choice. Yeah, the use of musical timing with all the chase sequences just line up so perfectly. Oh, so good.
Yeah, there's really impressive driving in that opening scene. This is another one I tried to snag, but I couldn't get it. The opening scene, just the drifting and just the way he makes those turns. And I love that scene where they're on the highway and the helicopters are trying to track him down, and he pulls into 2 other red cars and switches places with them, and then takes off on the exit. But that opening 6 or 7 minutes, there's a amazing little chasing when they're first trying to get away from their first heist.
Yeah, the one that really impresses me is when they're going down the alleyway and there's the garbage truck and he hard handbrakes it around the front of it and then gets down the other alleyway and the cop can't get him. Like, I was impressed with that. And I think the special features show how they do a lot of that. And they said that was one of the hardest things because they really had to time it because they were in a very narrow spot. Little car, big truck, and it's awesome.
And so it's all practical effect, right? It's no CGI in there. It's all
yeah. And they had, if I remember correctly, I forget what his name is, Baby. He's actually in the driver's seat, but they had a go-kart thing built on the top of the car, and they had an actual stunt driver driving the car from the top of the car.
Well, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure that was in this one. I may be talking to my ass right now. I know that was done in a movie, but I'm pretty sure it was this movie.
It was like when the Penguin was driving the Batmobile in Batman Returns from that little video game car. he was handling it in there.
See, there you go. That's another chase scene right there. Oh
yeah,
god,
the Penguin in the tiny Batmobile. Remotely
that movie is so fun. I love that movie. So wild. Yeah, Born to Be Rad says, "Oh man, with the music too, effing incredible. That scene won me over right away." All right, Vin, what do we got? Number 4.
Number 4, we're going to go with, I think somebody mentioned it in the chat, but we're going to go with Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh,
right
nice.
Here.
Yeah.
Basic premise of the film, it's 1960s, and Ford is trying to create their version of supercar to compete with Ferrari. And I mentioned earlier how I really appreciated, I was looking for scenes that really can show speed, and this does it for me. I rewatched the end scene. First of all, this whole movie is really, really, really great movie from start to finish, just as a film entirely. But I rewatched the ending scene today just to kind of get a grasp on some of my thoughts about it. But again, it just shows, I think Christian Bale does a great job as the driver of the car in the race at the end, and just showing that speed. It shows his odometer was going up over 200 miles an hour, and goddamn, I can't imagine, because me personally, when I'm on the highway and I get up to, sometimes you don't realize your foot's a little heavy and you're on 85, 95, I start to get a little nervous. I've gone over 100 a couple times, and it's not exactly relaxing. I can't imagine being in a car going 200 miles an hour and not just shitting everywhere. So, I mean, as a movie, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, Matt Damon, Christian Bale, it's a really good film. But the racing scenes, the F1 racing scenes are really well done in it. I love how it shows how his strategic timing of shifting gears around turns and bends. And it really grasps that element of speed that I look for when I'm looking for a really intense race or chase scene. This one does a good job making you believe that this guy's going 200 miles an hour. So just a great film.
Well, even the scene when Ford comes to check on him, and Christian Bale's like, "Get in the car," and he takes him out just on the practice test. Like, you really get a sense of just how hard he is pushing that car.
Yeah, and I think that movie wasn't nominated for Best Picture or something. Was it nominated for something?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know it got Oscar noms for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very impressive movie.
And I was not talking out my rear. They did have a go-kart thing set on top of the cart, had a green screen canopy around the bottom of it so they could cut them out. But yeah, there was a stunt driver driving around on top of the car, driving the cars and Baby Driver.
That's awesome. Like, you would never know too, but that's so cool.
Yeah. But Ford versus Ferrari too, like Matt Damon and Christian Bale, just masterclass in acting in that. I thought they did an excellent job to really, because documentaries are meh, but that was really, really well done. How you learned a lot with Ford v Ferrari, because that's not a movie I don't think I would normally watch.
Oh yeah, Christian Bale is so good in that. That to me is like a top 5 Christian Bale performance for sure. All right, let's go to James, number 4. What do we got?
All right, so for number 4. Now, I know we talked about Tom Cruise earlier and doing a lot of his own stunts for Mission Impossible. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was not driving any of these or flying any of these per se, and that's going to be Top Gun, the final battle scene. Well, I guess it's, battle dogfight scene or whatever. I mean, the whole movie, I guess I don't have to explain too much. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but, you're kind of building up the rivalry between Iceman and Maverick, with Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise. And then you get to there's the battle coming. You're kind of waiting for it. They're going to be fighting those Russians that he dealt with at the beginning. And then you finally get to, that end. And then you've got Iceman and them, and Maverick's kind of, back still on the aircraft carrier. And then, you're just waiting for him to come in and kind of help save the day on that one. And I think this movie came out in '86, if I'm not mistaken. Just the level of the fight scenes in this one. I mean, you would, if you watched it for the first time now, you would think that could have been made today. Like, it just the realism in those airplane scenes was just amazing, considering that movie's almost 30, 40 years old now. I just thought those were just some amazing scenes, especially seeing it back then. Just like you didn't really see that. I mean, you didn't really see dogfight battles in movies to begin with, and just the realism of that one was just amazing. And then, like I said, just an overall awesome movie. But like I said, I don't think Tom Cruise flew any planes on this. This is before his getting into all his own stunts, but it is still a really cool movie.
Yeah, I mean, that movie is great. I do prefer Maverick. So I was kind of curious, James, you're going with the classic one. I'm like, ooh, I was thinking Maverick, but you went classic. But the classic one is still a great scene. That is still a great battle. So
I liked Maverick, but I know a lot of people think that's amazing. I still prefer the original. I just, I don't know what I just, I grew up, I've seen this a bunch of times. I grew up watching this. The other one is good, but I mean, I like seeing, Maverick, Iceman, just the battle between them two, even more so than the battle with the MiGs at the very end of the movie. I just thought made the entire movie. And then, of course, Goose is in the first one. He doesn't get to be in the second one. That's his kid.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, the rivalry between him and Val Kilmer are excellent.
And then you don't expect Val Kilmer to be the one at the end. It was you just assume it's going to be Tom Cruise, and then it's not, and it still works perfectly. So,
yeah, great choice. You guys all classic Top Gun fans?
I like Maverick.
I was like, no, Dell. What about are you a fan of Maverick though?
Maverick, I really like Maverick. The original Top Gun, it just felt almost pointless. There's really no bad guy, and the rivalry everybody keeps building up between Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer, I never really felt it. It wasn't really there for me. And I only saw the original like the night before I went to see Maverick, so I never saw it growing up, even though it was out. But I was waiting for this big rivalry between him and Kilmer, and it's not really. There's like one scene where they kind of have a little bit of a run-in, and then at the end they kind of get together and do their thing. It's like, that's nice.
I mean, to piggyback off of that, I think I'm in the same boat in that I saw Maverick or Top Gun maybe a few years ago for the first time, and I think if you did not grow up with it, Maverick is so far superior to it. And I love Tony Scott, and the aerial, like the way it's shot is all good, but it is a really cheesy movie at the end of the day. It's like a lot of romance and weird stuff, and Take My Breath Away. Yeah, it plays 19 times throughout the song, throughout the movie. Like if I hear this song one more time, I'm gonna rip my ears off. I just think Maverick did everything better than the original, but I don't hate the movie. But I'm on Dell's team on this one.
Wait, which song do you hate?
Take my breath away. Oh, they play it so many times.
That for me, those two films are actually pretty close. But for me, what I was going to say is the soundtrack of Top Gun, the original, not Take My Breath Away, but the first song. I think it's Danger Zone. Amazing.
Good.
But it's in Maverick too, so you got the same.
Yeah, but that's piggybacking off of the original. Danger when that beat hits Danger Zone. God, Kenny Loggins, let's go.
Yeah, the very beginning. They use it in Maverick too. The very beginning when it's just that instrumental kind of building up when they're showing you the aircraft carrier at the beginning. I mean, that just alone, you've got the cool songs. Yeah, you got Mighty Wings. You got. I guess you don't like Berlin. I think that was their only song. Take My Breath Away. But
I don't hate that song on its own. I just hate how many times it plays in that movie. It's like constant. And to be fair, Danger Zone is better in Maverick because I got to hear it in IMAX. I didn't see Top Gun in IMAX, but I heard it in IMAX on Maverick, and it was amazing. I got hyped.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to nostalgia, just what you grew up with. Sure. Yeah. But I'm with you guys. I saw Top Gun recently, so I thought Top Gun was good, but Maverick, that blew my mind. That's one of my favorites of all time now. So,
seeing that's, I was born in '79, so me and James and Dell, like I said, we're all in that period, but we grew up with the Cold War. So I seen Top Gun in the theater. So for me, it was like a big patriotic movie. We're going to beat the commies and all this stuff. And it was just great. But I've watched it recently to lead up to Maverick. I give the edge to Maverick a little bit. There's things in Maverick I could do without, like the whole love story. Like I kind of thought that was a little pointless, but it did give Tom Cruise, Maverick a goal. But yeah, there's some stuff in Top Gun that could be left out too. I mean, greasy, short volleyball, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's not even a bad guy per se. I mean, even the Soviets it's just them with the black helmet and black, but you don't even see it really a person.
Fifth generation advanced fighters. Just say China. We know you want to say China. Just say it.
Yeah, and that was a lot of my thing because, like you said, we grew up with the Cold War, so I'm like, just tell me who the bad guy is already. Let's not try to beat around the bush and skirt around it. Tell me something. Give the movie some sort of stakes. Give it some sort of weight. And I never really got that from the original.
It's
there's
America
no
versus
Drago
country
in there or anything. It's just the Soviets. But just the like I said, the way they filmed that, in considering like the age of it, I thought is just amazing.
Yeah, the dog fights, those scenes they were great scenes. It's just the story never really got me.
All right, Dell, what do we got?
All right, I'm going with something recent. Recent here. I sat in the
Top
theater.
Gun Maverick.
Not Top Gun Maverick. This movie though, I saw it in the theaters, and I'm a big fan. We talked about this character a little earlier. I'm a big fan of this character, and here is the Batman.
Oof.
And it is, of course, the scene where we finally get to see the Batmobile unleash, the new one, and he's chasing the Penguin. And when the roar of the engine starts coming over those speakers, and it was, the theater was rumbling when I saw it, and I was like, oh man, this is it. And the whole scene was just insane. And I was just as in disbelief as the Penguin was when Batman was chasing him down. Even though I had seen it was still a fantastic scene.
Oh yeah,
and a
that's
great
my
Batman
favorite
movie.
scene. That's my favorite scene out of the whole movie.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Just when the car turns on, just the sound it makes.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh my god, this is amazing already.
Exactly.
It hasn't even moved yet, and I already love it.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm sitting in the theater, and it's coming. It's a Batman movie. Of course, the Batmobile is going to show up at some point. And then once the engine cranks up, and like I said, the whole theater just starts doing this number kind of, and it was like, oh man, here we go. We're in it now. And so I really enjoyed that scene.
And you got the Penguin being all cocky, being like, I got you.
I was going to say, Mike, it's got a really great climax of that scene where the Penguin, he stops short on the 18-wheeler and makes it tip and roll and turn over, and he thinks he got away, but then Batman jumps through the flames and
Awesome.
Yeah,
and even though they showed that in the trailer a bunch of times, or it was in the trailer, like it still was effective during the movie.
Yeah,
and I like the fact when he's walking up, he's upside down, so it makes him look like a bat hanging upside down.
Yeah, that was a great touch to that scene. Yeah.
All right, Nate, what do you got?
All right, so in honor of my my buddy over here, Dell, and his name, I went to a series that is just a smorgasbord of vehicles. It is the vehicle franchise. I'm going to Fast and the Furious film. Now, there's a couple that I love the most, obviously. And at the end of the day, I had to pick the one that I think is the best and that has the best kind of big finale scene. So I'm going Fast 5. And I'm just going with the heist scene at the end when they're stealing the vault out of the bank. I mean, you get The Rock and his freaking tank truck thing driving through walls. You got Dodge Chargers just dragging this thing along not just like a bridge, but all throughout Rio, going through banks and buildings and causing just general mayhem. And then, of course, you got bad guy cars, and it's long. Like, this scene is it's like 15 or 20 minutes long of just carnage. I love the opening on the train, too, like that first action scene when they're stealing the cars off the train and they jump off the cliff. I think that's great as well. But I had to go with the finale, and I love this franchise. There's only 2 movies that I'm not really crazy about, and the rest I thoroughly enjoy. So yeah, Fast 5, big heist finale scene. That was my pick here.
Now that was one I tried to get but couldn't get.
I'm sorry. As soon as he asked for the list, I sent it like right away.
I know. I mean, Fast 5, that's probably my favorite out of the Fast and Furious movies. I love it. So good.
Yeah. I think 6 has some really I love the scene in 6 with like the little not Formula 1 car, but like Owen Shaw has that little car that's like really low to the ground.
The rail car or whatever it is.
I love that scene as well. Tokyo Drift, I think, has some of the coolest driving because it was drifting and it was like kind of new and fresh at the time. But Fast Five was that's my jam right there.
All right, and oh yeah, what were y'all gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say I really do like the armored F1 car that they had in the other movie. That was amazing.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, those fast movies are fun for sure. All right, my number 4 here. We are now on to The Rock. No, not Dwayne Johnson. This is The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. And the chase sequence is great with Sean Connery when he's like, I guess, escaping sort of, or just messing around, kind of messing with everybody. Him driving through the San Francisco landscape area is just fantastic. Everybody knows like San Francisco has like crazy streets and all that good stuff. But yeah, I just love this movie. It's one of Nick Cage's best performances. It's one of my favorite Sean Connery performances. And it's just a really good action movie. But the chase sequence is fantastic. And it kind of comes out of nowhere, too. You don't really expect it. So, you guys a fan of The Rock?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
I think that was Sean Connery's his last really great movie. I can't think of anything after that he did but I think that was one of his last. Because it was that
You didn't like it, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Oh,
That was his last movie, I think. Entrapment? Was that after The Rock? That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's.
I mean, it's not an action movie, but it was pretty good.
99 or something.
Yeah. No, The Rock is his last great movie. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's check into the chat. We got Robert Mexica saying Fury with Brad Pitt has awesome tank action. Like one I still need to see. Saying Air Force One with Harrison Ford as our president. That's an awesome movie. That's still
Get off my plane.
Robert saying, have you guys seen Iron Eagle? There we go.
I
Ryan
have.
have.
Yeah, long
I
time
just
ago.
watched that for the first time like a month or so ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to rent that all the time on VHS.
Never even heard of it.
Hisham saying Con Air 97 with airplane crash. My daddy's coming on July 14th. My birthday is July 14th. Make a move and the bunny get it. Yes. I don't know what I just said there. Sounded a little dirty.
You just said lines from Con Air.
Yeah, he just quoted the movie.
Oh, okay. There we go. I'm like, I was totally lost. I haven't seen Con Air yet. That is one on my to watch list.
Oh, you gotta watch Con Air, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. I hear good things, but these Nick Cage movies aren't in 4K though. So I'm like, do I get the Blu-rays? Do I wait for 4K? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Nick Cage movie, but it's really a John Malkovich movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert saying Top Gun Maverick should have won Best Picture. It was my favorite movie of the year. I'll say that. Mm-hmm.
I think that's like his favorite movie of all time. I'm pretty sure he loves it.
Not my number one of all. That's still The Dark Knight Rises, but Top Gun Maverick's up there for sure. It definitely is. Robert says, great choice, Dell. The Batman. Yeah, that was definitely a great scene. That Batmobile scene was so good. Let's see. Batmobile sounded like your Challenger rental with the Nate.
Oh, yeah. So when I was out in Cali last week on vacation, I met up with Robert, and my rental got bumped up to, it got like, what is that thing that they call it? Upgraded to I had rented a Challenger, and they gave me one with a Hemi engine. And when you turn that thing on, it was just like, it sounded like that. It was awesome. And then I would go 5 miles per hour at a lot of times. So that was pretty great. Just rolling
I know, dude.
rolling along.
I asked you about that, the whole California experience, right?
Yeah.
With all that
great.
traffic, right?
Yeah, it was great up until like the last 2 days. And then I was just sitting in traffic all the time. But before that, pretty good.
I know. I love how the movies make LA seem all glamorous with Hollywood and Beverly Hills and all this
like
stuff.
Drive,
and then you get there,
the biggest lie I've ever seen is Drive. He's driving at night and there's nobody on the road. I'm like, Drive is a liar. This is false.
Oh yeah, it's same with like Ambulance. Ambulance is another one where it's like, no, that ambulance is not moving that fast in traffic. I don't care what time of day. No.
Or speed, because my thing is that the bomb doesn't get armed till he gets up to 55 miles an hour. I was like, when is this bus getting up to 55?
I barely got up to 55 ever. So, I don't even know.
Yeah. Yep. Robert saying the same thing, that LA traffic, and love those parking fees.
Oh, yeah.
You're paying for parking everywhere in LA.
I told
you
him
can
I
only
paid more
park
for
certain
parking than I
spots
did for
too.
food. I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Everywhere, $20, $30, $17. I'm like, good lord.
Well,
I just
did you
wanna
make
park.
sure to validate your parking tickets? You got to do that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. There was one place that validated it where I paid nothing, and one place that validated it down to like $5. And I was like, I still got to pay something, I guess.
Oh, yeah. And that California sales tax. I'm telling you, Cali's expensive. It is.
It is.
All right. Now we're into our number 5 right here. 5th vehicle mayhem movie recommendation. So, Ryan, what do we got?
I kind of feel like I've been hit or miss. Like mine haven't been too dramatic in that, and this one definitely isn't dramatic. And somebody just said it, but this is like one of my favorite movies. There's 2 different scenes in this. There's an opening scene that kind of sets the tone for the movie and how the main character acts, and then there's a good scene about 3/4 of the way through. But we'll go with Drive. I love the opening thing when he kind of explains to the guys, "You've got me for 5 minutes. Anything on either side of that window, it's your ass. But for those 5 minutes, I'm your driver. I'm your man. I will get you out of any situation. You don't have to worry." And then the other scene where he goes to help out Carrie Monahan or whatever her name is, and everything goes bad, and he's got to race the Mustang. Great scene there too. But I love Drive. It's just an awesome movie. Looks beautiful, and you're correct. Yes, there is no traffic, but Drive.
It's such a great movie. It's such a great movie. It's just too bad it's a big lie. It's just such a lie.
And the
And there's a
soundtrack
Clippers
too.
game. It's on the night of a Clippers game, and there's no cars out there.
If there's a Clippers
No
game
way.
going on, there's no way. Yeah.
But a great film.
Yes.
That movie, it was advertised completely wrong also, because a lot of people went into it, including one of my brothers, went into it thinking that it was another kind of Fast and Furious kind of deal. And he walked out of the movie, and I wasn't with him, but he walked out of the movie, and then I saw it, and it was one of my favorite movies that year. So we started talking about it, and he's like, "Oh, that was trash. I didn't want that." I was like, "Oh man, you don't know what you're missing." He's like, "No, I didn't want some brooding, introspective kind of deal." Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, so this is good information
Oh.
for when I watch. So it's more a
You're-
drama tale you're saying.
You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I haven't found anybody that has mixed feelings on it. Like they're like, I just didn't like it, or no, it's a good movie. That's all I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's the art house action film. It's like
Oh
not,
god. Oh my
No,
gosh.
it's not
Now you're giving
really-
me Skin and Marink vibes.
no,
No.
not that. No, not that artsy. Not that. Well,
I
maybe
still
better,
have
but better.
nightmares from that.
No, this is a real movie, not like Skin and Marine.
But it is a really slow burn at the beginning, and there's a lot of scenes where there's not much dialogue, even though nothing is actually happening. You got to kind of you got to figure out what's going on between just because of the way the characters are looking at each other, and then at some point later in the movie, it's instantly action pops off, and then the rest of the movie is pretty action packed.
Yeah. Great film.
But it's beautiful. Like the tone they set, the way it's filmed, the way it looks, the soundtrack to it makes it just sound really good. And I think you're right. I think Gosling only says like 283 words or something through the whole movie, but it's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen Drive either, but it sounds like I would dig it.
I think you would like it a lot.
Yeah, Robert likes that box there right there. That's a nice one. That's from Second Sight, right?
Yeah, the Second Sight 4K limited edition, just behemoth of a box. I mean, you get 2 different books in here, and you get the 4K, which one's the storyboard for the first chase scene, and the other one's the actual novel that it's based on.
And it looks great on 4K. Amazing.
Oh god, yeah. The opening scene where he's just driving down through, and you got the skyline behind it with everything lit up, just looks beautiful.
Great soundtrack too. Like I know Cliff Martinez did the score, but like it has a soundtrack that sounds like 80s songs, but then none of them are 80s songs. They're all like modern. Super cool soundtrack.
Yeah. Night Call by Kavinsky, and then a human being.
Yeah. Tick of the
You're a
Clock.
real human being.
Yeah. Great song.
And do they sell the 4K by itself, or do you have to get in that box set?
Yeah, they've got a standard
They have a
edition.
standalone. Yeah.
That's usually me.
That's
I'm
the-
like, where can I
yeah.
cut costs on it? I don't need the book.
Second Sight, usually they'll put out the limited edition, and then within 2 months of it coming out, they'll put out the standard edition.
Yeah, that's like the only way I get Vinegar Syndrome stuff. I'm like, I just want the standard movie.
Well, you don't want to pay $50 for a slip?
Outrageous. No, I don't. So,
well, especially
You don't want a
with
book?
something like
You don't want a book that you're probably not going to read? You don't want that?
you know what? One time I did try reading because you know the Columbia Classic. It comes with the book in there. I'm like, okay, it came with it. I want to get the full experience. Let me bust open this book, and I don't remember anything from it. I went through the whole first book. It doesn't retain in my mind. So I'm like, after that, I'm like, no books now.
But
I can watch more movies instead.
Book. That's the most important thing. You have it.
You have to have that book that you're not going to read.
Yeah.
You guys are pissing off Tim right now.
I mean, I have that Drive box set as well. I bought the same one, but I just never read books.
So
Criterion.
This is the mood of the whole movie right here. This picture encapsulates basically the whole mood of the movie. But I mean, this is kind of neat. I do like these storyboard things that they included. Like it tells how they like broke down the scene and all that, and like way it could have went. Like that's kind of interesting. But I'll be honest, I'm not reading this book ever. Probably.
Yeah, if you kind of want to be scared of Albert Brooks, that's a good movie to watch. Never thought I'd say that sentence. He's scary in that movie.
Yes.
Agreed.
All right, Vin, what do we got?
All right, so the last one, this is an outside the box pick. I'm gonna bring it back to the Star Wars universe, like James touched on earlier. So I had five movies that were already taken by you guys, so I had to kind of think outside the box, and I went with the scene from The Empire Strikes Back. So I think it might be the most, for me at least, the most iconic chase scene that I can think of out of Star Wars. And I'm talking about the scene where Han Solo's in the Millennium Falcon and he's trying to get away from his pursuers. And his only real option is to drive into an asteroid belt. So he drives into the asteroid belt and you have C-3PO telling him the odds of survival. And he's telling him, never tell me the odds. And then some scenes where he's going through some different canyons and valleys, and he's manipulating the Falcon to turn sideways to get through some narrow peaks and narrow structures. And I think it's just a really iconic scene in this film that is most definitely a chase scene. And in my searching for outside the box type of picks, that's where I ended up landing. Admit I'm not the biggest action guy overall. I don't gravitate toward action primarily as my main kind of movie enjoyment, but so that's why maybe I didn't have a lot of different picks on hand, but I rewatched that scene today and it's just a really fun, really great scene of the Millennium Falcon getting chased down.
And they end up in like a giant space worm, right? On the planet. Yeah. They're like, what's going on in here? And they find out they're in a giant worm. But yeah, that's a great scene. Yeah. Yep. And you picked the best Star Wars movie, so good choice on that.
Yeah. Yep. It doesn't end well for Han at the end of that movie, though.
Nope.
All right, James, what do you got?
My final one I actually don't have a copy of because the 4K is trash, so I let somebody borrow it. But this one is actually like an actual vehicle on a road one, and that is going to be Terminator 2, probably my favorite action movie. The scene where you've got John Connor on the dirt bike, motorbike, and you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger following on the motorcycle. And then, of course, you've got Robert Patrick in the 18-wheeler, which I don't think he didn't have the trailer on it. So it's just like the bobtail rig on there. And just the entire sequence is great. Robert Patrick just running up to the 18-wheeler, chucking the guy out, hopping on in. And then you've got him chasing John Connor on the dirt bike. The scene where the truck goes over the bridge. All right, that's not the most realistic, but just it's kind of one of those where the action is really cool, the chase is cool, and that one the music is just like spot on, and it's really the kind of the beginning where you really get to see that Robert Patrick's Terminator is just kind of like a real super badass. Like, how in the world are they going to get rid of this guy? I mean, when he crashes through that bridge. And the entire like top of the rig kind of comes off, and then they look back and he's gone, and then he just pops back up, and he's still chasing them. That's real. I mean, there's a lot of cool action, chase scenes in Terminator 2, but that's kind of the one that really sets the tone for what like an awesome Terminator that Robert Patrick is going to be, and how you need to get him, and just the whole kind of just scene in general. And it's really the first one where all three of them are together, minus Sarah Connor. But that's just this is an awesome chase scene.
It's a great scene.
Great choice.
Yep. It is a
I
great
was
scene.
worried no one was going to pick it. I was like, there's only 2 of us left, and I know I didn't choose it. So I had it ready for
Oh
honorable
yeah, if
mention just in
somebody
case.
didn't pick that one, that was definitely on my list. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going for that one. It's so cool because then you get to see the explosion at the end too, and then the liquid metal just comes out. And
I always just like when he
Yeah.
grabs him off the dirt bike and puts him onto the motorcycle.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, this is such a great. Even when I was a kid, I was like, man, if I was driving a bike and someone just yoinked me off of it and put me on a motorcycle, that would be so sick.
That and him
But
cocking the
like
shotgun with
one-handed.
one hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Opening all those gates, yeah, he's just shoot it, put it back,
Yeah.
shoot it, put it back, like just like it was nothing.
Even the helicopter scene, whenever Sarah Connor and John are in the armored truck and he's chasing them in the helicopter, that's a great scene because they even fly in a tunnel on that, and that was a big deal.
Yep. It's the best. I lap that movie. It's like one of my top 5 favorite movies ever.
It's sad though. I think we all knew that what you were going to pick as soon as you said the 4K is crap.
Yep.
Yeah, I rewatched that movie recently for a stream I did with a top Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, and it is pretty much it's a perfect movie. It's a perfect action film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then they made part 3, and
well, I mean,
like
3 looks
but-
like a masterpiece
Okay.
compared to 4. I tell you,
Well,
That's
I
the
like
action
3
one.
too.
It's
prefer
so
3 to the
boring.
Dark Fate, though. The Dark Fate, I could because I knew what was going to happen at the beginning of that one, and I knew it was going to piss me off, and sure enough, it pissed me off. And so at the whole rest of the movie, I was just sitting there mad the entire time. So at least I prefer it to that.
I actually really just like 3 as a good movie, but yeah, everything after that is just trash. But I'd like Dark Fate better than Genesis, that's for sure.
Genesis is the worst. That is the worst.
3 would have been better
It's
if
like
Eddie
a
Furlong
freaking-
hadn't been all messed up.
They turned Skynet into like an iOS or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? An iPad, like the iPad from hell is Terminator Genesis.
I haven't seen anything past 2.
Don't.
Yeah,
You're
stop right
fine.
there.
You're fine.
All right, Del, what do we got?
All right, this is one I thought had to be included, and this was the OG Steve McQueen in Bullet.
Oh, yeah.
And it is long been hailed as one of the greatest car chases of all time. I agree with that. He plays a detective, and he's driving along when he notices a couple of bad guys are following him, and so he tries to get away from them, tries to elude them, and they're chasing him. And this scene, what helps set it apart is that it is in San Francisco. So we get lots of up and down hills and around fairly sharp. Of course, it goes in and out of traffic, and it's just an amazing scene, especially shot way back then in the late 60s when it was. It looks like they're on a F1 or Formula One track. There's so many curves and, like I said, up and down hills and all around. And some of the POV shots that you get where they're kind of going up the hill, so you can't see anything in front of you, and then you go down the hill, and all of a sudden you notice what's down there, and it's just a brilliantly done scene.
Oh yeah, it was so cool seeing that scene for the first time because I haven't seen the movie, but that scene, I thought The Rock had a good San Francisco chase scene, but then when I saw that Bullet scene, that scene was so cool. Like you were saying, the up and downs of San Francisco. I mean, it captures that city perfectly if you've been to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like a wild ride in that one. So I want to go and watch that movie now just because of that scene. And like I said, it might be the greatest Hollywood chase scene of all time. Who knows? But it was good.
It's definitely a good movie. Definitely a good movie.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that one because initially Tim was going to be on the stream, and he recommended it so highly, but I don't have it, and I don't think it's streaming, so I didn't get a chance to check it out.
If you get a chance to, though, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
All right, and Nate, what do we got?
All right, so my number one. This is anytime anyone asks me about car scenes, there's a lot that I love. Clearly, we went over some, but for whatever reason, this one watching it in the theater, I was one of the, I don't know, 80 people who saw this at the theater because it didn't make really any money. But an experience seeing this at the theater. Went to a midnight screening. The thing was like 3.5 hours long. Got out very late. And even at 2:45 a.m., this like woke me up pretty much. So my number one favorite kind of car scene in general, it's going to be from Grindhouse. And I'm going pretty much the whole third act of Death Proof. You got my main man, Kurt Russell, as Stuntman Mike, one of the best names ever. Stuntman Mike. And you got Zoe Bell, who is, of course, a stunt woman, just dangling on the front of this car, like legitimately. And I think there's not a lot of directors who would do this now, but Tarantino, being who he is and being a fan of the movies that he is a fan of and paying homage to all those car movies that they say throughout the movie, The Bullets, the Gone in 60 Seconds, like the original one, it is something to behold. It's just cars going really fast on these kind of back roads. There's no CGI. There's real stunts. There's some great shots. There's a shot with Kurt Russell. It's in the girl's car, and Kurt Russell comes like out of nowhere from the side, and you could see it's him driving. I love it. It's really long, and it has one of the best ending. Like that movie, the way the movie ends cracks me up every single time. But it's so satisfying. After all this craziness, he just gets stomped out by the girls, Rosario Dawson, and them just stomp him out, and it's amazing. But yeah, that scene, it is pretty much a modern version of an old 60s or 70s style car chase, and executed to perfection.
Yeah, that's also another movie I haven't seen. But Vin, you were trying to pick that one too, right?
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So it makes sense. It makes sense, Nate, that you submitted your list really early because, like, apparently your whole list was my list.
4 out of 5, apparently. Oh,
But
my gosh.
yeah, I love that scene. How Kurt Russell is such a he's a killer. He's a badass the whole film. But the last little bit, I guess I don't want to spoil it too much because you haven't seen it, Mike. But the tables just get turned so well, and just it's so fun seeing just classic American muscle cars out there just speeding along on these dirt roads at the end. It's a blast.
Oh yeah, I mean, just with the clip though, because I watched the whole clip and I'm like, those ladies are just ramming into him. It's like, oh my goodness, like, be terrified of this right now.
Did you see the part where she's hanging on the hood with, like, she's tied with the belt and she's hanging on the hood?
I don't know if I got to the hood part. No.
So that was at the beginning. That's how it starts. She's on the hood and he's ramming them, trying to knock her off.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really
I just got to the part where they were ramming him.
Okay, the second part of the thing. Yeah, it's great.
Apparently, lots of ramming in that movie.
Lots of ramming. You got the little duck on the front of the car. Iconic.
All right, now getting into my choice here. And I know we've already mentioned this one a whole bunch, but I'm still going to show it. So, of course, you got to go with Speed. You got Keanu Reeves, just a national treasure there. And Sandra Bullock, Jeff Daniels. I mean, the list goes on and on for this cast. But I love this movie. The bus scene where they jump the gap, that's the scene I was going to show. I just think it's so iconic because you're like, what are they going to do? How are they going to get out of this? And Keanu's just like, gun it. Just pedal to the metal. Let's go. Pretty much just all pray that we make the gap here. So that was super cool when they actually do jump over it. But it's just high octane fun. And the bus the whole time. And then eventually the bus crashes into a plane and it explodes and all that stuff. But great action movie from start to finish. It's always a fun time. So I love Speed. One of my favorite action movies of all time.
Good movie.
Yeah,
Same.
like when the bus
And then
hits
they're on a
that
subway
ramp
train.
and for some reason goes up in the air. That was always like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
was
once
there
again,
a
I don't
ramp?
know if the laws of physics
What
are
are
there,
physics?
but it's so entertaining.
I rewatched that when I got the 4K probably last year, and I forgot how long the first segment of the film is. It's just all about that whole bomb defusal in the building. Like in my
Yeah,
mind, I
elevator.
thought that they got to the bus stuff a lot quicker, but the first like 45 minutes is not even on the bus yet.
Yep.
Maybe half
Yeah,
hour.
it's just 3 set pieces. The whole movie is 3 set pieces with like almost nothing in the middle, and it's great. I love it.
So good.
And then part 2 happened.
Cruise Control, starring UB40 on the cruise ship. Yeah.
Though
Number
truthfully,
2
you
is
could have.
definitely significant.
Yeah, you could have picked that train finale from the first
Yep.
movie too, though.
That's true. All right.
In Speed 2, Willem Dafoe is hilarious. Like with the leeches and stuff. He cracks me up. He's such a freakazoid.
Well, everything in Speed 2 is hilarious, but I don't think it was supposed to be.
You're right. You're right.
All right, so we're going to get into some honorable mentions now, and because I know we're getting kind of to that 2-hour mark, as you go through your honorable mentions, right after, kind of let everybody know where they can find you, promote your channel, anything you got upcoming. So we'll kind of combine those two sections here at the end. And then just a reminder to the audience out there, thank you again for being here. And once again, everybody's links to their channels are in the description below. So definitely stop on by there, show them some love, watch their amazing content, because everybody on this panel has amazing videos, and you're going to love it if you like this kind of content as well. So let's go to Ryan. So first honorable mentions, and then let us know what you got going on. I know you had an amazing video post today that I really enjoyed.
So I was not prepared for honorable mentions, but I just wrote 3 down. One that I was surprised was not mentioned tonight because it's in the thumbnail, and that is Maximum Overdrive. I don't care how cheesy and bad the movie is. It's one of my favorite 80s movies. I mean, you've got killer semi-trucks, killer Coke machines, all sorts of stuff. Great movie. Talladega Nights, the story of Ricky Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the man crashes and catches on fire.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yep.
And then a decisive movie. Of course, it came out right at COVID and all that. Tenet, the backwards car chase crash scene, I think is one of Nolan's more spectacular set pieces that he's done as far as like dynamic action. I like Tenet. I know it's confusing. People don't like it, but I really enjoyed it. But the car crash scene was definitely good. But I am Ryan, Movies with Ryan. I put a video out every Wednesday. Today I dropped Double Dipping. Do you do it? What's my preferences, my choices? I showed off some of my double dips. There's been a couple other people in the community that's put those videos out here last week. Got me thinking, so I did that. You can find me on Instagram where I do Steelbook Monday, Fresh Friday Driving Jams on Friday, Sunday Spin on Sunday, and then what I'm watching through the week or whatever. And that's pretty much it.
An awesome t-shirt, by the way. Very cool. Look at that.
Back to the multiverse.
That's so awesome. All right, and Vin.
I just want to say first, Ryan, I really do enjoy your Friday music videos showing the songs you're listening to. You always pick some good stuff. But as far as honorable mentions, I was looking at some Star Wars stuff, and I had to mention quick the pod racer scene from The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
That's a fun little racing scene. Another one I was just thinking about toward the end here was when you guys were talking about Ryan Gosling and Drive, is the scene in Place Beyond the Pines where he's trying to get away from the bank on a motorcycle, and he kind of drives into the back of that truck and they kind of get away. I thought that was kind of cool. And then again, my outside the box thinking, I like that ending scene of Toy Story where they're trying to catch up to the moving truck on that little rocket or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool little snippet of a chase scene there, chasing down the moving truck. But yeah, coming up soon, tomorrow, actually, I have I think it's episode 8 that me and Benicio do. We took a little hiatus because he was moving, but we're going back to it tomorrow, our Vin versus Vin series. And tomorrow is all about underrated Arrow video releases. So we're going to be talking Arrow video tomorrow. And yeah, beyond that, my channel's Hard Copy Blues, and I only post a video, it seems like every 2 weeks or something, but yeah, check it out.
Oh, I got to shout out Robert here. Robert makes the cut, says, I'm subscribed to everyone here. Thank you, Robert. Much appreciated.
Rob.
All right, and James.
I got to agree with Ryan that I love 80s cheesy movies. That Maximum Overdrive, and if you haven't seen it, that on the whole kind of thumbnail, it's that bottom one on the right, that it's supposed to be a toy truck 18-wheeler, but that is the creepiest, especially when you watch it as a kid. That's the creepiest, like, clown face or demon face or whatever it is on the front of that. That totally gave me nightmares for a while. But since I love 80s, these aren't exactly like the most amazing chase scenes or whatever, but they're really nostalgic to me because I've seen them a bunch. First one is going to be Back to the Future. How can you not like a scene with Marty on a skateboard being chased by Biff that ends in a crashing into a horse manure truck? And as a kid watching that growing up, having a skateboard, I think every kid thought, hey, that would be cool if I could just attach myself to the back of a car. I could do that same thing. Luckily, I never did it because I'm not that stupid, but always loved that scene. And then this one isn't an exciting, super exciting chase scene, but The Goonies is one of my favorites. And just the very beginning of the movie when you got the Fratellis breaking out of prison and then you got the chase scene with them. And then it basically shows you each of the Goonies characters before they kind of come together. And the chase scene is going past each one of them is always a scene I always love. So like I said, I'm a huge fan of 80s movies. Always any 80s movie I love to get into. My channel straight to Blu-ray. I'm on Instagram and YouTube, same name. I usually put out a couple videos a week on YouTube, just on things, movie reviews, 4K reviews, usually collection videos, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think you just put out a video talking about Married an Axe Murderer, right? Coming out.
Yeah, that's getting a 4K release.
I'm so excited for that. So excited. Yeah. Been waiting on that one for a while. And then Dell, what do we got going on?
All right. First, thanks for having me again, Mike. I really appreciate you. Always trying to reach out to me. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thanks. As for honorable mentions, I'm going to go to the 70s. We talked a lot about the 80s. I'm going to go back to the 70s again. And one not a lot of people think about is Grease, the big car race with Grease Lightning down in the same area where in the LA River where T2's famous chase scene is. And we get a race scene out of that. And then we're going to go with some more obscure movies. This one is called The Car. And it might be a slight spoiler, but the car is possessed by the devil and it's just mowing people down in this little small town. So
yes,
I love that movie. And then finally, we're going to bring some Sly Stallone in here and Death Race 2000. And in this movie, he's a driver in a car in a cross-country race, post-apocalyptic. And during this race, you're not only awarded points for being ahead of other people or finishing first, but also by how many people you run over and kill. You get actual points. So senior citizens are worth a certain amount of points. Kids are worth a number of points. Adults, it's just on and on and on. It's crazy. And it's a great time. Not a technically great movie, but if you turn your brain off and just have a good time with it, it's a blast. And the cars in here that they modded, I'm just going to put that one on the cover there, where you can kind of see what's going on with that.
Jeez.
Yeah, 3 stars out of 5. Is that their big like, hey, we got 3 stars out of 5? Is that their best review? I don't know.
Let me see what this says. Video Movie Guy gave it 3 stars. I don't know what Video Movie Guy
out of 3
scale is. It might have been out of 3. I don't know.
What year is that, Dale? That looks like you plucked Rocky right off the set of, or it looks like you plucked Sly right off the set of Rocky in '76 and put him in a race car.
Yeah, it's a couple years before that, and David Carradine is in it.
Yeah, isn't that a Roger Corman?
Yes,
production?
Roger Corman.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the year on here. They don't have it here, but I think it's 74, 75. It's somewhere in there.
Yeah, the Blu-ray is severely out of print. I know Tim from Tim Talks Talkies just picked one up, and it was not cheap. Good, he had been looking for it forever.
Yeah, last time I saw it, somebody wanted like $90 for it. It's crazy. So that's why I'm stuck with the DVD here. So
he came out with that movie, and then a year later he came out with Rocky.
Yes, more or less. As for my channel, Delon Movies. And lately, I've been most heavily focused on my weekly live stream called Movie Swap. Myself and another movie collector or movie buff have each other watch a movie that the other person has never seen before, and then we discuss it live on air. Summertime is getting to be here, so I'm going to have a lot more free time to do recorded videos also, because I haven't done as many as of late because it's just been super busy, but I'm going to start cranking those back out as well. Or Movie Swap every week, and come join us, hang out with us.
All right, and then Nate.
All right. So as far as honorable mentions, this was hard. It was hard to think of 5, and it's even harder to think of just 3. But I'm gonna go with one I don't own physically. I only have it digitally. But as far as the vehicle, no one mentioned one that I know of that it all is on a bicycle. It's a Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie called Premium Rush. I don't know if anybody has seen this movie.
Yeah,
Cool movie, yeah.
Yeah, he plays a bike messenger who gets involved with Michael Shannon is in it. He's the villain, and he basically gets involved in something he doesn't want to get involved in. And pretty much he's on a bicycle, like going through the city, trying to escape him the whole entire movie. It's got a lot of energy. It's pretty good. It's but it's not super popular or anything like that. My next one is gonna be from Batman v Superman. Okay. I know he kills people, but I don't care. I love the Batmobile scene in this, where he's just like blowing people away, like shooting rockets and machine guns, and I love it. I love it. I want carnage, and I'm here for it. So I love that. And then one that it does is on a vehicle, but it doesn't really involve any driving per se. I mean, there's a little bit of driving in it, but I'm going up now. Jurassic Park is my favorite film of all time. I'm going Jurassic Park 2. Okay. The scene with the T-Rex, the two T-Rexes in part 2, where they're in the trailer, and Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore, Vince Vaughn, they're in the trailer, and it's going over the edge of the cliff. I think as far as a suspenseful scene, just as a scene, it rivals anything that's in the first movie. First movie is exponentially better, but that scene in particular, I've always loved. I think it's executed so well. And there is a car in it, but they go backwards off a cliff. So that's going to be one of my other ones. As far as where you can find me, Geeks and Flicks is the YouTube channel. Every other Monday, we don't go live weekly anymore. So every other Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we do our live shows, me and Alex. And then as far as recorded videos, I do a boutique review every week called Nate's Boutique, where I watch a movie I've never seen from either like a Kino or Criterion or Screen Factory or whatever, and I give a little review. I also do Out of the Theater reviews every single week. I'm going to be recording one as soon as we stop here for The Little Mermaid. I got out of that right before we came here. And on Instagram, you can find me at Netflix Reviews.
All right. And then for me, got a few honorable mentions. I just thought of, I don't have them to show, so I'll just kind of have to paint the picture here. First, we'll start with a good classic one. If you guys are Steven Spielberg fans, no, not Duel. I know that was mentioned, but the Sugarland Express. You get tons of cop cars in that movie, just chasing down this one car for most of the movie. And, it's pretty entertaining. I actually prefer over Duel, but have you guys seen Sugarland Express? You guys like that one?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's good.
And then let's go a little bit more modern, going into the 90s. I have to pick a James Bond movie now, and we got to go, of course, with Tomorrow Never Dies, my favorite Bond film. I think the action's great in there, but I love the car scene where he's remote controlling it out of the garage, and he's just having to escape through the garage, and that's super entertaining. And you get a lot of good gadgets in that James Bond movie. So I think that one's very underrated, especially the opening scene is fantastic. Especially you got the jet sequence too. You could count as a really good action vehicle moment. So I think that movie's fantastic. And then we'll go, once again, a lot of Batman movies were already mentioned. You could really go with any Batman movie because they're all such great action scenes. But I do really like Batman Begins with the Bat Tumbler just flying over the rooftops. Very entertaining. It's just a modern way of doing a Batmobile. So I've always appreciated that. But those are the honorable mentions. And then once again, audience, thank you for being here. Anybody that watches on the replay, thank you so much. Definitely consider some super thanks and memberships, of course. That always goes a long way to helping support the channel. And then thank you, panelists, for being here, talking some amazing action sequences and vehicle mayhem, and giving me personally some really great recommendations, because I haven't seen a lot of these movies, but now I have a list like a mile long of things I absolutely have to watch. So thank you all again for joining tonight. It was a really fun time. And then everybody out there, go ahead and go watch some action movies for now. But everyone have a good night out there.